Okay, if councilors could take their seats, we'll start the meeting. Chris is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Councilor Burdick was here. Okay. Okay, good evening. Welcome to the May 1st, 2025 Town Council meeting. Find the right paper here. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, I must inquire whether anyone is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make your presence known. Seeing no one, this meeting is being televised live via Xfinity Channel 8, Channel 1070, and High Definition Channel 1072. It may also be accessed via the Government Access Channel live stream feed on the town website, the My Barnstable app, and the dedicated Barnstable streaming app, and streaming platforms including Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire Stick. So there's no reason for missing any one of our meetings. For public comment, please make sure you sign in with your name and village for public comment. Public comment is 3 minutes. Please keep your comments brief and to the point. Written comments are always welcome at council@town.barnstable.ma.us and will be distributed to the entire council. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Councilors: Bloom,
Present.
Burdick,
Present.
Clark,
Here.
Crow,
Here.
Levesque, Ludke,
Here.
Mendez,
Here.
Neary,
Here.
Penn, Schnapp,
Here.
Starr, Tamish,
Present.
Turkelson.
Here.
We have 11. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Lutke, if you could introduce our veteran.
Thank you, President Tamish. Be my pleasure. All right. This evening we have Roland Roy. Army Sergeant Roland Roy is a former Canadian citizen. Roland immigrated to the United States with his family in 1963. In 1962, Roland was drafted into the United States military service as the Vietnam conflict was nearing its end. He served as required 2 years of military service in the Army. Sergeant Roy served at Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. He was assigned to Charlie Battery, 1st Battalion of the 8th Field Artillery Regiment. This particular artillery unit had been destroyed in combat operations in Vietnam. Roland was one of the first members to begin reactivating the unit. He worked with the battalion executive officer for indirect and direct field fire operations. In his last year of duty, he proudly obtained his United States citizenship. Shortly thereafter, he was honorably discharged and returned home. Sergeant Roland Roy currently lives in Marston's Mills. Let's welcome Roland to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. And before we do that, I'd invite Roland to come up, and this is his unit insignia. If you could tell us what that says, Roland, and then we can go right into the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
I don't remember exactly.
You have to come to the microphone.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we wore it on our hats. It was our proud medallion that we had to wear as soldiers.
I know it has a lengthy heritage, the unit you were in.
It does. It came out of, there were so many streamers
Yes.
and banners associated with that medallion.
Yes, thank you. Okay, let's rise and welcome Roland.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, in which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If you remain standing for a moment of silence, and tonight I would like to recognize Chief Neil A. Nightingale, who was the Chief of Police from 1976 to 1998, and I worked for Chief Nightingale for all of those years. So before we do it, Councilor Crowe would like to read a quick message.
Thank you, President Tamish. Neil Nightingale, 91, a retired chief of police for Barnstable Police Department, passed away on April 22nd, peacefully at home with his family. He was born in Hyannis on May 21st, 1933, to Roy W. and Gertrude Nightingale. He graduated from Barnstable High School with the class of 1951, where he excelled on the Barnstable Red Raiders football team. Neil joined the Barnstable Police Department in 1955 and proceeded through the ranks of patrolman, sergeant, lieutenant, and was appointed chief of police in 1976, where he served until his retirement in 1998. That was 22 years. A decorated police officer with many commendations, he was proud to serve his community at the highest level. A simple man with a simple rule: do it once and do it right. He expected the best from his officers, be professional, be highly trained, and proud to wear the uniform. He was a member of the Massachusetts Police Officers Association, the Massachusetts Chiefs of Police Association, the New England Association of Chiefs of Police, the International Association of Chiefs of Police, as well as the Barnstable Youth Hockey Association. Not only did he dedicate a lifetime to enforcement and community service, but he was also a devoted husband for 68 years and a loving father for 61. Balancing work and family was a priority in his life. He enjoyed being at the rink, watching his sons play hockey, and cruising Nantucket Sound on the Bird's Nest with his family. Neil is survived by his wife of 68 years, Gail, their son Scott, and Keith, and as well as his beloved beagle, Sassy. He was predeceased by his parents, his brother Roy N., and his wife Dottie Kenneth, and his nephew Sean Nightingale. On a personal note, Neil was a mentor, an example, and most of all, a great friend. He lived a life of true public and community service and was an honorable and decent man. He will be missed by his community.
Thank you. We could now have a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. Do we have anyone for public comment tonight? No? Seeing no one for public comment? Okay. Anyone online? No. All right. So I guess we do not need council response to public comment. All right. Town Manager Communications. The Town Manager's report has been published. It is online, and there is also a video message online. It consists of the Cape and Islands Wastewater Trust Board meeting and the discussion of the final 2025 intended use plan. Finance Director Mark Milne and Treasurer Collector Sean O'Brien met with credit analysts from Standard & Poor's to discuss the town's upcoming general obligation bond issue in May. Of note, at the beginning of the meeting, the analysts commented that they look forward to meeting with Barnstable every year, using the community as a gauge when meeting with other issuers, particularly when it comes to financial planning. And congratulations to Mark Milne and his staff for being the gold standard that other towns are measured against. There was some question earlier this week. Work is being done this week on the wind farm cable chamber located at the parking lot at Covell's Beach. Vineyard Wind 1 communication staff have informed the town that they will be making some minor modifications and upgrades in the underground cable chamber. This May 20 years ago, the town acquired the Hyannis water system, and there's a synopsis of that, of the many, many accomplishments that the water department staff, the DPW staff have made in the water department in providing much greater, better service to Hyannis. There's also Kate Molandano provided an update on the local comprehensive plan, the housing production plan, the community development block grant. And Assistant Town Manager Andy Clyburn provided an update on the quality of life working group that is focused on enforcement matters across all town departments. Did any of the council have any questions for Manager Ells? Seeing none, thank you. Okay, I'd like to act on the minutes of the April 17th, 2025 Town Council meeting. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as printed?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. I guess we'll have to have a roll call on that, correct? Okay. Can we do that for that too? Certainly. Okay. What I would like to do tonight, because we have counselors on Zoom, we are normally required to have a roll call vote on all matters. So with the consent of the council, I would like to ask that we waive that requirement. We will still do a vote, but particularly I'll bring it up again when we discuss the CIP items so that we don't have to have a vote to open and close all of the public hearings. So we have a motion made and seconded to accept the minutes as printed. All in favor?
Do I do a roll call at this point?
Excuse me?
Okay. Counselors.
Roll call.
Bloom.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Ludke.
Yes.
Mendez.
Abstain.
Neary.
Yes.
Penn. Schnapp.
Yes.
Tamish.
Yes.
Turkelson. Yes. We have 10 yes.
Thank you. All right, at this point, it's my pleasure to invite Rob Galbois, the district attorney, to come forward and give us an update on what is going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. With your permission, may I approach to hand out a copy of my
Absolutely.
annual report?
Sure.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you again, Mr. President, for the opportunity to come before the council and give an update of what we've been doing since I last appeared last year. This is my third time appearing before this council. And I had an opportunity to peruse your agenda and all of the attachments totaling about 65, 67 pages, so I know you have a little bit of a night ahead of yourselves, so I will keep my remarks brief, certainly under 10 minutes. There are 5 topics that I wanted to touch upon, and I'll certainly answer any questions that anyone might have. So since I've last seen you, and this happened about 6 weeks ago, about a month and a half ago, we launched a new program called CERT, Child Emergency Response Team. And it's a collaborative effort from prosecutors and victim witness folks in our office, along with certainly our law enforcement partners, but also members from DCF, or the Department of Child and Family Services, and Children's Cove, where we conduct our forensic examinations and interviews of our most vulnerable victims. And essentially the goal is to try to collaborate as quickly as possible to investigate as fully and swiftly as possible the underlying offense, as well as try to provide services for our child victims and their families as quickly as possible. It is led by Courtney Scalise, who is the chief of our Child Protection Unit. And within the past few weeks, she ran 2 trainings right here in Hyannis. Each training had north of 60 attendees. So we're feeling pretty confident that it's off to a good start, and we're really excited about it. I wanted also to talk a little bit about human trafficking. I spoke to this last year. When I came before you last year, I mentioned how the Office of Grants and Research awarded our office nearly $100,000 to conduct a series of trainings across my district, Barnstable County, Dukes County, and Nantucket County. And we were able to do that, a total of 4 trainings for law enforcement folks, hospitality, and transportation industry folks. This past year, we were able to convince them, because we offered that, we presented with credibility from what we did with the initial funds, to again grant us $100,000. And this time we wanted to run a statewide conference. And we just ran that about 2 weeks ago here in Hyannis. We had 38 presenters from across the entire country, and including local folks. Detective Katie Parachi from Barnstable PD presented. We had Detective Lieutenant Mike Turgeon, who runs the human trafficking unit for the Massachusetts State Police. We had Dr. Abigail Judge and Sergeant Mark Sullivan from Boston PD. We had members of the FBI. We had the entire 5-member team from the U.S. Attorney's Office come down to present, as well as U.S. Attorney herself, Leah Foley, to give some remarks. We had over 200 attendees over the 2-day conference. So we're really excited about the effort that went into it. We're getting really positive feedback. Members of the Office of Grants and Research that gave us the funds attended the 2-day training and had nice things to say, and we're already starting to plan on kind of like what's next. Whether we're going to be able to do what's next in our minds in the next year, we don't know quite candidly yet. We're having some preliminary conversations of maybe a national conference, but I will certainly keep this council up to date, because that would certainly be something quite considerable if we're able to pull that off in the next year. I wanted to speak briefly about our efforts regarding fentanyl and drug traffickers in fentanyl. You might remember I explained when I first took office in January 2023, I instituted a new policy. Anytime someone's charged with drug trafficking fentanyl, those are your business dealers, if you will. Those are the ones that are pushing the poison for profit. We would employ the dangerousness statute to try to have them held from the outset, from their arraignment. Well, we now have some data. Let me back up. We were successful in those efforts in the following way. We got judges to buy in. It's not as if a district attorney can wave the wand and say, hey, we want you to find this person to be a danger and hold this person without bail. We have to convince the court of such. And fortunately, all of our judges across the district and Superior Court bought into this, and they began holding people from jump. So now we have some data to digest since we've instituted that policy. The numbers from 2023 have revealed that non-fatal overdoses were down 10% and fatal overdoses were down 7%. It's certainly encouraging. But now we have 2024 numbers. 2024 numbers, non-fatal overdoses are down 25% from 2023, and fatal overdoses are down 35% from 2023. So I can't stand here before you and say directly there's a correlation, but you can draw a reasonable inference that this kind of hard line, if you will, in addressing drug traffickers and fentanyl appears to be working. So I just wanted to provide that highlight to you. As many of you here know, and I think some of you may have attended, we had there was a grand opening last week for the hospital, the new addition that they put up. And right about this time last year, our office learned that in the permitting process that Cape Cod Healthcare went through, working with the Department of Public Health, they had to invest a certain sums of money in various stakeholders across the district for which they serve. So we went back, organized as a team to try to figure out how can we apply to get some funding to help some of the things that we're working on. And we discussed a program known as SIMS, and I know the chief's in the back of the room. She can nod her head if she agrees with what I'm saying, but SIMS stands for Critical Incident Management Systems. It was launched back in 2019. 3 pilot police departments, including Barnstable, participated. And what it is if there's an overdose experience, the responding officer goes back and enters the information into the database. And I'm going to give a quick hypothetical, and I'm not trying to pick on any towns. Say someone from Hanover came down here and came to the Hyannis area and had an overdose experience. When that information is entered into the Barnstable Police Department SIMS database, folks up in the Hanover area, because they participate as well, would be notified, activating resources for that particular person almost in real time. So it's a really valuable program, as you might imagine. We saw an opportunity to try to rejuvenate and kind of expand this SIMS program should we get some additional funding. So, no kidding, this is how it actually started. I bumped into Mike Loft, the CEO of Cape Cod Healthcare, and one of his senior VPs, Chris Lawson, at a restaurant, and the classic napkin where some notes were taken. That led to ultimately a 10-page single-space proposal. That led to 1 or 2 meetings with Cape Cod Healthcare. Then that led to several meetings with Cape Cod Healthcare and the Department of Public Health. And after about 9 months, we were notified that we were being awarded $1 million. And we're getting that check, I understand, in July of this year. Oh, excuse me. It's going to be 4 years, $250,000 each year. And the first check arrives in July. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to have a full-time employee work with our police departments. We have 14 out of the 15 departments on the Cape participate in SIMS. Barnstable does participate in SIMS. And that employee is going to work with each of the departments to try to just assist in making sure this data is entered in a timely fashion. But we see great opportunity to expand it. We might have an opportunity to do such things as include interpretive services, housing, wellness issues. So there's a real chance here to broaden the reach that this SIMS program provides, and we're really excited about it. The last topic I wanted to talk about has to do with elder fraud. Every single month, our detectives across the Cape gather in Harwich PD for a monthly meeting. And it's just a chance for all of them to kind of share what's going on in their respective towns and bounce ideas off one another and see if they can help each other solve some stuff. I try to attend those meetings as best as I can, and for a long time, round table discussion, if you will, going around the table, it was usually things like B&Es into cars or B&Es into seasonal homes or unoccupied homes. And then last summer, it took quite the turn. Literally every single department, all around the table, every month, elder fraud, elder fraud, elder fraud, elder fraud. So it was October of last year, October 2024, I asked the following. Can you go back to your departments, please, and ask for 2023 data and year-to-date 2024 data on the number of cases for elder fraud in your particular departments? I want to give a shout-out to Detective Lieutenant Megan Cunningham. She provided the numbers for Barnstable that I happen to know off the top of my head. In that time frame, Barnstable had 397 calls for services regarding elder fraud. Of that number, they were able to put a police report together on 257 of those cases. Of 257, they were able to go forward and charge in 13. Now, the challenging part is we don't have the resources to thoroughly investigate the rampant fraud that is going on across the entire district. So our office got together to try to see what we can do. We put together a proposal totaling about $580,000. We want to get a couple forensic examiners on staff. We're thinking of certified public accountants towards the tail end of their career. They've been in private practice. They made their money. Now they want to engage in some public service. We want to hire a couple more prosecutors and a couple more victim witness assistants to work with our victims, of course. We are right now, as everyone knows, in budget season. The House has gone through the process, but the Senate's going to be starting up next week. So we are literally right now, at this very moment, drafting proposed letters to send out to, I have 20 councils of agings in my district. We have elder services over the Dennis Yarmouth area. The chief in the back room doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to be asking her and her colleagues to do a letter of support as well. So we are then expanding, and tomorrow morning it begins. Cape Cod 5 has agreed to do a letter of support in this area, and we're going to be meeting with some other financial institutions across the district as well to try to gather support to help our efforts. And the goal is to have those forensic examiners work with our area police departments because the resources are just challenging. So that's my update. I certainly stand prepared to answer any questions you might have. Otherwise, wishing you the very best with what appears to be a lengthy agenda.
Thank you very much. Very impressive year.
Thank you.
You've been busy.
I have a very good team, so.
Any questions for Mr. Galbois? Any comments? The fraud thing, I agree with you. It's rampant.
Yes, sir.
Every day you hear of somebody that's having an issue, or someone's aunt or grandparents or something. It's amazing how convincing these people can be.
Yes, sir.
When they target someone.
Yes.
Vice President Clark?
Thank you very much, Attorney Galbois. Would it benefit your package to get a letter of support from this body?
If this body would entertain supporting our efforts, I would greatly appreciate it. And through the president, if it'd be okay, I can get a suggested letter and I can get you our proposal that we submitted, so you know we had it's either 6 or 8, I forget, legislatures of our delegation already sign off in January for our request, and I would provide that so you have that as a basis. But if the council would consider, I will get something to your office by tomorrow for distribution to your membership, and any sort of support is deeply appreciated.
I think we can get that on the agenda for the 15th. if
Okay,
you can
I will
that
get something
information
to your
me.
office tomorrow.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Councilor Lutke?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to say, as with your last presentation, I'm just so impressed with the way you kind of enhance, leverage, connect, think out of the box, invent new, kind of slightly different ways of looking at things. It's really impressive. It's nice to see the creative thinking and, you know, also attaching resources, because if you don't have the resources, you can't do anything. So really impressive, and I'm absolutely will be supportive of a letter if we can get that going.
I really
Thank you.
appreciate that. I do have to acknowledge, it's a team effort. It really is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Have a great night, everybody.
We'll
Thank
see you next year.
Yes, you will. God willing.
Thank you. Okay. Any further discussion? One thing I did want to bring up, I want to wish Councilor Starr a speedy recovery from his recent health issues, and we hear things are going well, and that's good news. So, anyone else? Councilor Schnapp?
Thank you, Mr. President. It's that time of year that the Millbilly Breakfast is back in our midst this Sunday, May 4th, from 8 to 10 a.m. at Liberty Hall in Merson's Mills. And this is one of the best bargains on the Cape. Pancakes, scrambled eggs, sausage, home fries, coffee, tea, and juice for $10. And I think kids are a little bit less at 8. And again, my colleague to my left, Councilor Levesque, has been instrumental in providing most of the food donated for the breakfast. So hope that all of you out there consider dropping by on Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Councilor Bloom?
Thank you, Mr. President. With your permission, I'd like to read something an article in the newspaper, make a couple of comments. First, I'll start by saying that there was a recently released, the Cape Cod Commission says that 81.1% of the citizens who responded to their survey say that traffic congestion is an important issue. And now I'd like to read a very disappointing article, but I think we need to remember that progress is a double-edged sword. This is from the Telegraph in United Kingdom. Robin Wilson wrote this on 4/25/2025. And I think that the Chamber of Commerce needs to, deal with this in whatever way they can, but here's how it starts. Cape Cod has had its day. In the know, travelers head to this nearby beauty. Just a little further up the coast, the picturesque enclave of Cape Ann offers the maritime charm without the mayhem. Ever since former U.S. President John F. Kennedy protected 40 miles of its coastline through national decree, Cape Cod has been the poster child for a New England summer. Its golden sands and evocative white picket rentals forever etched in American hearts and a major draw for tourists. But during the busy months of June, July, and August, this peaceful seaside retreat gets more than its fair share of tourists. Data from the Chamber of Commerce, Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, shows the peninsula attracts about 5.5 million visitors annually, with 65% coming in the summer alone, resulting in clogged up roads and oversubscribed beaches. Just a little further up Massachusetts coastline, however, the lesser-known Cape Ann Peninsula offers the same maritime charm and quantities of lobster with a great deal more elbow room. I discovered this when, having traveled up from Cape Cod one morning last summer, I stopped for a warm buttered lobster roll and a glass of white wine in a pleasant waterside restaurant in Gloucester, Cape Anne's only city. The change of pace was palpable. Outside, fishing boats bobbed serenely in the harbor. Inside, a scattering of locals enjoyed their lunch. There were no queues, no traffic jams, and no crowds. It was a revelation. There's more to the article, but that's all I wanted to read right now. I think that you may not agree with it, but it's alarming when something like that is out there, and that's why I say that progress is a double-edged sword. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Councilor Crowe?
I was just neglected to add on, as far as Neil Nightingale, a mass will be held tomorrow, Friday, May 2nd, at 10:30 a.m. at Our Lady of Assumption on Weano Avenue in Osterville for his mass service. So anybody would like to come, that's where it's going to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comment? One thing I didn't mention, I was talking about the town manager's report. Monday night, there will be an LCP public meeting for input at the Osterville Public Library at 6 p.m. And then the final town-wide community meeting will be Thursday, May 8th at 6 p.m. So I would encourage you, if you would like to come out and comment on the local comprehensive plan, because it is one of the so-called master plan, if you will, for the next X amount of years for the town. And the more input into that, the better. Okay. Moving on, we will move on to the orders of the day. We'll obviously start with old business. With the forbearance of the council, when it comes time, I would like to move 2025 152 to 156 and 2025 181 and 182 out of sequence, to get them out of the way before we start into the CIP for the school department. Yes, 2025 152 to 156. And 2025 181 and 182. Yeah, I'm sorry, and 183. 183 was, thank you for that. 183 is a late addition. Okay, Councilor Turkelson, if you could do 2025 151, please.
Thank you, President Tamish. This is an item of old business that may be acted upon by majority vote. Article 2025-151, appointments to a board, committee, commission. And the appointments are for the Historical Commission, the Housing Committee, Human Services Committee, and the Mid-Cape Cultural Council, as written.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this article? Seeing none, I don't know if any of these people are here. I would like to stand to be recognized and thanked for their service. Seeing no one? No? Okay. Could we have a vote, please, on 2025-151?
Councilors Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Levesque,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Penn. Yes. Schnapp,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson,
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
12 yes.
Thank you. Passes. As I said, I was asking to take out of sequence, so we would like to move to 2025-152. And Councilor Burdick, if you could do that, please.
Sure, thank you. This is new business and may be acted upon by majority vote. Item 2025-152, transfer order in the amount of $9,000 to fund repairs to the police department's Nauset boat and purchase redaction software associated with body-worn cameras.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Chief Chalice.
Good evening, Mr. President and council members. Thank you. The police department is seeking permission to transfer $9,000 from our FY25 personnel budget to our operating budget in order to cover the cost of repairs for our 21-foot Nauset patrol boat that we use on Lake Wauquaket, to fix some sponginess in the stern of the boat for about $1,700, and then the remaining money would be used to cover the cost of redaction software. This fiscal year, we've been using our Axon body cameras now for a year, and we found that the redaction software that the company offers is extremely beneficial to us. We have to redact license plates, faces, the screens from when the officers are in the cruisers. We have to take the CJIS screens off of the footage, so that software is able to do it in a much more timely manner. Just as an example, if we have 4 officers go on a call and they're there for a half an hour apiece, that actually creates 2 hours of video, and it would take someone in the records office or in the prosecution office 2 hours to review it. But the redaction software is able to limit that to 10 minutes. And it's much more uniform and consistent when the software is doing the redaction. So we do make sure that it's correct at the end with a quick perusal, but relying on the software, make sure that it's uniform and consistent.
Thank you. Is this the, what are the word of the year? Artificial intelligence, AI?
There's a little bit
It
of
is.
AI, that's
All right.
correct, yep.
Very good. Any questions for Chief Chalice? On my right? On my left? Seeing none? Madam Clerk?
Counselors. Clark.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Levesque.
Yes.
Ludke.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
Penn.
Yes.
Schnapp.
Yes.
Tamish.
Yes.
Turkelson.
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
12 yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Bloom, if you could read in 2025-153, please.
Certainly, Mr. President, thank you. This is new business, may be acted upon by a majority of vote. Item 2025-153, transfer order in the amount of $124,507 to fund the purchase of office furnishings and the redesign of office space at the police department facility.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Once again, Chief Chalice.
Good evening, again. We are requesting permission to transfer the amount of $124,507 from our FY25 personnel budget to our capital budget in order to purchase some updated office furniture and reconfigure space and repurpose space in the building. Many of the furnishings that are in the building now have been there since the building opened. What we would like to do is reconfigure some of the space, switch our sergeant's office with our report room. It'll allow officers writing reports better access to the watch commander, and also give the sergeants a better workspace where they can have a meeting table and some secured storage for themselves, and update the space. Right now, currently, we have 4 people working in an 8-by-10-foot traffic office, so we really need to better utilize the space that we have so that people have some improved working conditions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Councilor Lutke?
I just had a question. I'm just curious. Based on the year that was built, it seems like systems furniture was all the rage then. Is this an open bay, and these are these movable walls, or do you have hard walls? I'm just wondering what you're working with, having never been in there.
It's a mix. We do have 2 offices. The one office that has the 4 people in it, there's 3 desks jammed in that 8-by-10 office. So we would be using that space as a single office moving forward, and those 4 people would be moved up into an open space that's going to be reconfigured with some, I can't think of the word, but
The partition.
modular,
Right, the
yes.
modular, yeah.
Yes, because
Okay.
that's going to have the 4 corner desks and a work table in the middle.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Neary?
Thank you, President Tamish, and thank you, Chief Chalice. Just a quick question. How many personnel are you down still?
We have 14 vacancies. Right now, we have 24 people that are not working because we have a number of people deployed. We have people that are out injured that are coming back, and then we have some pending departures, one due to maternity, one due to a military deployment that's happening in about 4 days.
Sure.
So-
What do you have in the pipeline coming in now?
We have 3 recruits in the academy, and they'll be graduating in June. They'll start their field training, so they won't be road ready until the end of the summer.
Sure.
And hopefully, with the departure from civil service, we'll be able to bring in some recruits. I know that our personnel and background unit has had a lot of contact with people from other agencies, but we have not been seeking people through a civil service process since we hired this last batch of 3.
And one final question, if I may. The civil service requirement, is there a time frame at all yet in terms of down the road when this could finally?
I think we're close. I think there's been a lot of progress, and I think the unions in the town are working very well together to get that resolved. So
Okay, yeah, I
hopefully
mean,
we'll be
this
before you soon.
is a transfer of monies already applied in personnel, so, it's a question to be asked, so good luck, thank you.
Thank you. Sometimes it feels like 1 step forward and 2 steps back, doesn't it? Okay, Madam Clerk?
Councilors: Crow,
Yes.
Levesque,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Penn,
Yes.
Schnapp,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
12 yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't
Thank you.
realize you were first.
Counselor Turkelson, could you read in 2025-154, please?
Thank you, President Tamish. This is an item of new business that may be acted upon by a majority vote. It's item 2025-154, transfer order in the amount of $19,800 to fund the purchase of navigation equipment and boat trailer for the Marine and Environmental Affairs Department as written.
Second.
Okay. Thank you. Moved and seconded.
Good evening,
Lawson?
councilors. Derek Lawson, Director of Marine Environmental Affairs. Also with me tonight is Harbor Master Brian Taylor. We are requesting the one-time funding of $19,800 from salary savings to purchase a boat trailer as well as navigational equipment. The trailer is for a 2007 25-foot Parker, which is the original trailer, and also the navigational equipment is for the same vessel, and that is also original.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions for Director Lawson? Am I right? Counselor Lutke?
I just am following in the vein of Paul Neary here. When I was walking my dog this morning, a person talked to me about some buoy that's been identified for deletion through the federal program, HH80 maybe, at the entrance to Hyannis. Is there any update on that? Is that true? Have you heard anything about these navigational buoys being targeted for removal?
Yes, we have. Both Brian, Harbor Master Taylor, and myself have heard this, and we've provided comments as well. We are not in favor of eliminating 2 buoys. It would be the HH buoy, Welcome to Hyannis, as well as the Welcome to Barnstable, the BH buoy, and we've provided those comments.
Is that all we can? Now, what if your comments are not felt to be important and they take the buoys away? What do we do?
Unfortunately, the Coast Guard are the ones that maintain the federal channels and the federal aids to navigation. We made our comments to them, and hopefully, we've worked with them in the past for some rock buoys out here in Nantucket Sound, and hopefully they hear our concerns.
Okay, if you just keep everybody, because mariners are interested in this subject, and just keep everybody informed on the status of the buoys.
We will. We agree. They're extremely important.
Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Turkelson?
Thank you. We had the item at the last meeting where we appropriated money for a new boat. So this is an old boat, 2007, And the trailer's obviously old, and every time it goes in and out, it gets rust. I understand that, being a boat owner myself. And the navigation equipment that you're putting on an old boat. Let's just say this boat died next month, and we've just installed, you know, a significant amount of money in navigation equipment, and we have this trailer. Would this trailer be able to be used for some other boat if we replaced it? And would we take the navigation equipment and put it on the new boat? Or would, when we buy a new boat, does that come with navigation equipment on it? I'm just wondering about the sensibility of spending money on something on a boat that's 2007 when we just appropriated money for a new boat that was maybe not quite as old as this.
That's a good question. So the 2007 Parker is our main workboat. That's what we use to deploy all of our aids to navigation that we put in the water. We maintain 200 aids to navigation here in the town of Barnstable. And so, yes, this trailer would be able to move other vessels, and the navigational equipment is pretty much plug and play. It's just the installation that takes a little bit of time. So if, by chance, this vessel goes down, we would be able to use that trailer for other vessels, and we would be able to use that navigational system for other.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, President Tamish, and thank you very much for your presentation. Given that both as director and harbor master, you weighed in on the removal of those aids to navigation, would it benefit a vote from this body to add to the urgency or the importance of those of maintaining those buoys?
That's a good question. I will inquire and see if the Coast Guard will take a letter of support from this council to maintain those buoys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you happen to know if the public comment period is still open on that, or
Yeah. Do you know when it closes?
June
June
22nd?
22nd.
Sorry, we have time. Okay. Thank you. Any comment on my left? Seeing none. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Counselors, Levesque,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Penn,
Yes.
Schnapp,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
12 yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Lutke, could you do 2025-155, please?
Yes, this is new business. It may be acted upon with a majority vote. Item 2025-155, authorization to contract for and expend a fiscal year 2025 grant in the amount of $3,928 from Restore America's Estuaries for the purpose of funding the purchase of water quality equipment and plantings for stormwater swales.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Santos.
Good evening, Mr. President, Town Councilors. Dan Santos, Director of Public Works. Restore America's Estuaries is providing a grant opportunity for communities in the Southeast New England program, which is also known as the SNAP program, region that have projects aimed at restoring clean water, healthy ecosystems, and sustainable communities. The purpose of this grant program is to assist stakeholders in funding purchases of equipment and supplies to advance these types of projects. The town of Barnstable has been awarded $3,928 grant to purchase equipment for the town's estuaries and ponds monitoring programs and plantings for stormwater swales. This is a reimbursement grant in the amount of $3,928. The town must expend and request reimbursement of all the costs. All costs associated with this grant must be expended prior to May 31st, 2025, which will not be a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for Director Santos? On my left? Seeing none. On my right? Seeing none. Madam Clerk?
Counselors, Ludke,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Penn,
Yes.
Schnapp,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Levesque.
Yes.
12 yes, thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Clark, if you could do 2025-156, please.
Thank you very much, President Tamish. This is new business, may be acted upon with a majority vote. Agenda item 2025-156, a resolve approving an exemption under Mass General Laws, Chapter 268A, Section 20D.
And
Second.
Madam Town Attorney, should that be as printed because it doesn't give a real title? Or
I'm
is
sorry.
that sufficient?
I'm not sure I'm following.
She made a motion just to accept a resolve approving an exemption. Should it be
Oh,
more
she didn't-
specific for that?
As written.
As written.
As
Okay,
written,
yes.
sorry.
Thank you.
As written.
Thank you.
Second.
Attorney Nover.
Thank you, President Tamish. Karen Nover, Town Attorney. Good evening, councilors. Section 20 of the State Conflict of Interest Law prohibits municipal employees from having a financial interest in a municipal contract. But that section of the law provides a number of exemptions for municipal employees and for special municipal employees. Section 20D provides an exemption for a special municipal employee who files with the town clerk a disclosure of the employee's financial interest in the contract if the town council approves the exemption. Gregory Egan is an unpaid member of the town's Waterways Committee, and that position has been designated by the town council as a special municipal employee position for purposes of the Conflict of Interest Law. As set forth in the disclosure that's in your materials, Mr. Egan's company, Crosby Yacht Yard, Inc., seeks to rent a seasonal boat slip at a discounted rate to the town's Marine and Environmental Affairs Department for use by the harbor master. As president of Crosby Yacht Yard, Mr. Egan has a financial interest in that contract. So in accordance with the Conflict of Interest Law, he seeks town council approval of an exemption of his financial interest pursuant to Section 20D. There's actually a typo in your materials, it's 20D. So if the council approves the exemption, Mr. Egan will file the attached disclosure with the town clerk. If the council chooses not to approve the exemption, he will not enter into this contract with MEA. And I believe the harbor master is here to speak to the contract if you have any questions about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Did anyone have any questions? I think most of the material is printed in our handout. Any questions on my right? Any questions for Director Lawson or on my left? Councilor Schnepp, did you?
I just wanted to clarify the fiscal impact. Do we currently have a lease of some sort for a slip, or is this a new arrangement?
This would be a new contract with this company. I don't know what they have now.
Oh, okay.
They could speak to that.
And we went through normal procurement for this slip, or just?
Good evening, Brian Taylor, Harbor Master. So currently, we don't have a license or a contract in this marina, nor do we have one in the Three Bays area.
Okay, so this would be a new arrangement?
This would be a new arrangement.
Okay. And did we have to follow a certain process in order to?
We always do, and so due to the dollar value, I did inquire with the local mariners if they had any slip availability over the last 3 years.
Okay.
I just heard back from Greg this year that they did at Crosby, so I did inquire if there was an availability. The other two marinas said no.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Councilors: Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Penn,
Yes.
Schnapp,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Levesque,
Yes.
Ludke.
Yes.
12 yes, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Crowe, if you could do 2025-181, please.
Thank you, President Tamich. This is an item of new business, may be acted upon by a majority vote. It's item number 2025, number 181. Transfer order in the amount of $293,138 to fund the purchase of 4 police vehicles.
Second.
Thank you. Chief Chalice, welcome back.
Good evening, President Tamish, council members. The police department's requesting a transfer in the amount of $293,138. from our FY25 personnel budget to our FY capital budget in order to fund the purchase of 4 police vehicles. We did request in our FY26 budget funding for 8 police vehicles. However, due to questions about future availability and the impact of pending tariffs, we were able to locate 4 suitable vehicles now, and therefore we're requesting this transfer to be able to purchase them. If we are able to do that, there's a savings because of the cost of the vehicles on the lot being lower than what we anticipated of $28,605 to the town, as well as potential savings from the tariffs.
Thank you. Any questions on my left? Councilor Neary.
Thank you, President Tamish, and thank you, Chief Chalice. I had a comment from one of my constituents, which you may have heard. The last run of vehicles that were purchased, I think they were Tahoes, most of them, and they were black, and I guess there was an issue with the color that was available through the manufacturers, which is ironic, but that's what it was, I think, back in COVID days. The comments that I'm getting are that our new cruisers, the way they look, they're, how do I put it? They're subdued, maybe? Is that a good word? They don't really have what this particular constituent said was a proud look or bearing. I know now, I think they're just taped, right? They're just striped or wrapped or something, I think.
They're wraps.
Is there any change in the design of what these vehicles may be, or is the planned look going to continue to be the same?
Well, we had to move away from the blue because of the expense, because of the right to repair law required that you needed 3 coats of paint. So it added at least $6,000 to the cost of every vehicle. And that wasn't just for the initial vehicle, but you figure every time that there's an accident, the car has to be painted. So it became prohibitive to buy the blue cruisers or buy the white car and have it painted blue. So we switched to what we could get with the wraps. And so we end up buying a white or black cruiser with the wrap. There were a lot of heated discussions over the new design, but ultimately that was the best decision that we could make financially. And I understand that takes some getting used to, but I don't anticipate changing that design.
So, I mean, once the graphic is made, the graphic's made, right? Maybe I'm throwing it out there that maybe we could possibly make our, men and women in blue and something a little bit more, I don't know. Yeah, punchy, is that a good way to put it? Punchy, right? Just the thoughts of myself and some constituents I've heard. Thank you. Oh, by the way, will they be black or white, the ones that are on the ground, on the lots? Do you know the colors of the vehicles?
I don't know. I just know that we were able to locate 3 Silverados and an SUV. So okay. That's what we were going to be taking.
Thank you.
As someone who was involved in the design of the original design, it just occurred to me, if we're going to do wraps, could we do a wrap in the traditional style?
No, the wraps are basically black and white. Believe me, we had a number of discussions about parting with that old blue. Everybody loved the blue. Absolutely. I mean, it was a classic. It was. I mean, we always stood out, and it looked sharp. So there was some heated conversations about getting rid of that. It just wasn't, at the time that we did it, if you ordered 5 or 6 cars and you were spending at least $6,000, you were basically absorbing the cost of an unmarked car. And that just wasn't good use of our money.
Thank you. Councilor Crowe.
Hi, Chief Chalice. The 4 cars, they're about $73,000 a piece. They come tricked out with everything you need in the car, with the computers, whatever else the police need. It comes down to that price.
Yes, the new cars are coming with the AED, the MDT, the printer, and all the equipment and all the lights. So that's the full cost of the completely outfitted cruiser.
Okay, thank you.
Including the wrap?
Including the wrap.
Okay. Any further comment on my right? Seeing none, any further left? Madam Clerk?
Counselors, Neary,
Yes.
Penn,
Yes.
Schnapp,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Levesque,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
12 yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, 2025-182 is to move to a public hearing. Councilor Mendez.
Thank you, President Tamish. This is new business, item number 2025-182, to be referred to a public hearing on 6/5/2025. Appropriation order in the amount of $978,000 for the preservation and restoration work at the West Barnstable Railroad Depot, located at 2469 Meeting House Way, West Barnstable.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. I don't think there's any discussion on that, is there, Madam Clerk?
Counselors, Penn,
Yes.
Schnapp,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark, Crow,
Yes.
Levesque,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
12 yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will go back into sequence now, and,
183?
oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Schnapp.
Thank you,
Can
Mr.
turn the
President.
page over.
Item of new business to refer to a public hearing on June 5th, 2025. Item number 2025-183, appropriation order in the amount of $1,350,000 in community preservation funds for the purpose of acquiring a conservation restriction on 10.3 acres of open space at 30 and 31 Crocker's Neck Road, Katuitt.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Counselors, Schnapp,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Levesque,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Penn.
Yes.
Thank you, 12.
Thank you. Mr. Town Manager.
Good evening, Mark Ells, Town Manager. Thank you for recognizing me. Just a little off the topic for 1 second. Thank you for indulging me and having our school department coming up next. Our superintendent will appreciate this. Here with us tonight is a Cape Cod Community College student, Sarah Gutierrez, and Sarah is the governor's appointee to the Board of Trustees at the community college. Sarah is a intern for us this semester, working with Dave Anthony. Sarah is an outstanding student and actually one of my former students. So when I saw her come in tonight, I said, Sarah, what are you doing here? And the reason that I'm here, not only to say you're all being observed, because she's doing that for her class, is that Lynn, she needs a recording of a portion of the town council. So she was going to do it with her phone, and I said that I would provide her with whatever she needed for a recording. So I just wanted to introduce Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Sarah. Okay. Now we will move on to the regular agenda. Madam Superintendent, the rest of the night is going to be yours. Now, as I announced earlier with respect to the public hearings, I'm going to announce the opening and closing of each public hearing without asking for a vote to do that. But if any counselor objects at any time, then a vote will be taken to open and close the public hearing.
Thank you.
I didn't know if you wanted to make an opening statement, so to speak. or just move on to the items?
Good evening, President Tamish and Vice President Clark and town councilors. It's a pleasure to be here. Sarah Ahern, Superintendent of the Barnstable Public Schools, and I'm joined this evening by Doug Bowlanger, who is our Director of Facilities. We also have behind me and us is Katri Malali, who is our Deputy Director of our School Facilities Department. And I would also like to recognize Chris Dwelly, the Deputy Director for School Finance, who helped put this capital proposal together. So we have 17 projects that we're bringing forward for FY26, seeking your approval. We continue to really work towards upkeep, maintenance, and repair in very strategic areas across the district. And Doug will speak at greater length about each of the projects, but I'll chime in as needed. But I'll turn it back over to you if you want to go one by one and read the orders.
Okay. So I think we left off with, Councilor Neary bailed on us. Councilor Levesque, if you could do the 123, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is old business. Public hearing, roll call, 2/3 majority vote. Item number 2025-123, appropriation law and order in the amount of $1 million for the purpose of funding the Barnstable United Elementary School HVAC equipment replacement design projects as outlined in the fiscal year 2026, fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan as written.
Second.
Thank you.
Everyone, to talk about a little bit about this project objective will be to redesign and replace all of the HVAC equipment in the Barnstable United Elementary School to meet today's standards and demands for this building. The justification for this is that the equipment has exceeded its life expectancy and is long overdue to be replaced. Repairs have been constant and ongoing to the point that a majority of the units do not work adequately to meet the building demand and they need to be replaced. Some of those are the indoor air quality assessment by the state of Massachusetts details numerous deficiencies. With the new design and new HVAC equipment, the air quality will be greatly improved, reducing health risks. Repair cost will be reduced as well. Denial of this postponement of this CIP would continue with repairs will continue and units will continue to fail, causing unsuitable conditions for students and staff.
And if I can chime in just for, just to note for the council, this proposal for FY26 is the design and engineering for a much larger project in FY27 related to full HVAC replacement.
Thank you. Okay, at this point, I would like to open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard on this matter? Seeing no one. Lynn, is there anyone online? Seeing no one, I declare the public meeting to be closed. And now we'll have this council discussion. Any discussion to my right? Councilor Ledke?
Yes, I just wonder if you could elaborate at all. We know earlier in the year there was significant discussion about mold there. Can you just give a quick overview of what you've done with that and how this project ties into that? Because clearly the building was constructed with some sort of HVAC system. Are we going to be able to, through this effort, to put in a system that's not going to give us the same results as the old one? I mean, just some more insight on that, please.
Sure. I'll start and then Doug can chime in. There's been a lot, as you have alluded to, that's happened at Barnstable United Elementary School. And in terms of the indoor air quality, the HVAC was a major contributor to the issues that happened last summer. It's not the only contributor, and you'll see some additional projects being recommended this evening based on the extensive engineering work that's been done this year and analysis on the building. In the meantime, a lot of work has been done to do what repairs can be done to upgrade the exhaust, fix motors, replace filters. Doug can share more details there specific to the HVAC, but it is an old unit that the experts are telling us is existing beyond its expected life, and And so we're keeping things running and staying on top of it. But this should fundamentally really help with maintaining an improved air quality at the school.
Correct. And then just to add to that, I mean, I think you've done a great job on explaining the equipment is exceeded its life expectancy. And in the years past, it's been kind of repaired, maintained. Some of the units and the exhaust were shut off. Some of them, when they would go into a faulty mode, they would basically shut down. But basically, the bottom line is we don't want to just put in like kind. And we've talked to the engineers about that. We've had them already out there walking the building with me, up in the attic, through the whole building. And from what I can tell from just looking at the history of this building, almost from its inception of when it was built to, I think there was issues in 2009, 2014, 2019, and now, and it's always been the HVAC equipment. So yes, it's old, yes, it's dated, but what we're saying is we want it to be completely redesigned, reinvented, and adequate for this style, this type of building, which was built at the time to be a very efficient building. But I think it's one of our newest schools in the district. But with that, I don't think the HVAC was adequately designed to meet today's demands and the changing climate. So that's what we're wanting to make sure that we have a full engineered analysis of it with all a completely new system.
No, that's great. I mean, a really robust design process is absolutely appropriate to what the situation is. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is this another low bid issue?
I'm hoping not. I mean, we're
Oh, I meant in the past.
In the past?
What we have is low bid, you know?
Right, and probably the design was probably changed, and I would imagine that the school design, I'm saying. But this engineering group that we've been working with has been very instrumental on a lot of the other schools that we have. So starting off, we're looking at, the design of it and engineering of it, and then hopefully when we go into the equipment, it'll be sufficient for this building.
Good. And kind of interesting, it's $1 million for design, but only 800,000, I shouldn't say only 800,000, but $800,000 for construction?
8 million.
Oh, I'm sorry. I lost a zero. Okay, now it makes sense.
Right.
Okay. I couldn't figure out why the construction portion of it would be 800,000 when the design was $1 million. Okay, thank you. Councilor Schnapp.
Thank you, Mr. President. Two questions. Several months ago, you came before the council requesting our approval of some possible grant funding from the state. Mm-hmm. Would this project fall into that category, or is that for other schools? I can't remember what.
That was for 2 roof projects,
Okay.
One at the high school, one at the intermediate school.
Okay.
There are some very specific parameters around which MSBA will accept those applications. So this was not. This is not one of them, although they do have a project for heat pumps.
Okay. And my 8 years on the council, whenever we are discussing HVAC units and various replacements at the schools, there's sometimes a question regarding, are we thinking far enough ahead in terms of, state-of-the-art different types of systems? I'm assuming this is gas-powered, or what's the main fuel source for?
Well, we're looking into both of those options, but you're
Okay.
absolutely right. And that's why this $1 million ask for this is to be designing it for the future, not
Okay.
for a replacement. And we are working, and I'm working with Sean Hogan on some other grant funds
Okay.
that could be a possibility. So these could go electric. But it's just, right now, it's designing it, looking at it, and then seeing what our options are for purchasing and units and whatnot. So
Okay, thank you.
we'll look at the best options possible.
Okay, great.
Councilor Neary?
Thank you, Superintendent. This has kind of like been a thing for me for a while. HVAC is very expensive, I understand. Engineering is always something I think the council always has a little bit of a tough time going, like, it seems like a lot of money to figure out what we need. But put all that aside, this came up before us some years ago. think it was $19 million over all the schools that had to do with rooftop units. And each one was roughly 900 and change. And it seemed like a pretty strong number. But you can take all of that and you can throw it away, because ultimately, you get a redesign here. I think what really needs to be the focus is, how are you going to operate with the school closed? Now, I know that might sound shocking, but in order to properly repair the school, the ductwork needs to be changed, and you've got 10 weeks to do it. So I don't know, from a logistics point, how that's possible and still be able to run your school while, because basically the only opportunity you have to shut the school down is during the summer, right? Call it the 100-day war is what I call it. So that's your time frame. And contractors, it's the busiest time of year for these type of applications. So I guess my point being is that you need to absolutely focus. Maybe it has to be a penalty contract, where if they don't get the work done, you have to have a deadline, because I'm going to tell you right now, you cannot, replacing the ductwork, if that's the case, replacing the heating and cooling systems, no matter what system you put in, it's a big school. They're all big schools. So, I don't know where this falls on the engineering design aspect of things, but this is something that, please don't, should the council vote on this, should you move forward, that's going to be your number one, thought, because the kids are coming back, and you've got to have a place to put them. And I'm just telling you, it's a big project, and to be able to do that, you're going to need a crew that's going to be a huge crew to come in there and do that. You got to tear it out, you got to demo it, and then you got to reinstall. So I've seen it before, and the reason why I bring it up is the conversations years ago were on this exact topic. And you know what happened? It was just a rooftop unit. It wasn't ductwork. And these are the type of things that occur when you're dealing with air quality. You've got to do the whole thing. You can't piecemeal it. And I'm not trying to pick, but I'm just trying to, if I can't stress enough that you are dealing with, time is precious, so you've got just a very small window to get whatever you're going to get done, whether it occurs in fiscal year 25, 26, 27. You've got to keep, be very cognizant of that. That's going to be a number one concern. My thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Boone?
I completely agree with Councilor Neary. You've got to get this done in a very limited amount of time. Last summer, you had some work done at the school, and there were a lot of complaints about the people who were working there. There were kids working there. There were even days where there was an absence of people. There was not I don't know how many people were supposed to be working there, but it seemed inadequate. And so I think it
Can I maybe respond to that?
Yeah.
We were not the only district that struggled with indoor air quality issues last summer, and so we were competing with a multitude of districts to get crews. And while there were times where it appeared that not much was happening, Service Master, for example, had brought in 40 industrial fans to dry out the building. And so the goal was to dry out the building. And so the perception was nothing was happening inside the building. Meanwhile, there was an active work site to really dry it out before any of the initial mitigation was happening. So I just want to note that was under extreme emergency conditions, couldn't be and wasn't planned for, and we were competing with a number of districts who were also looking for, in particular, Service Master to come in.
Well, thank you for that explanation. However, I still think that Councilor Neary's point is well taken, and hopefully you won't have that same problem. When do you expect this work to be done?
Well, preferably, hopefully next spring and summer.
Next spring
I
and
mean,
summer.
and it also working with that, and to add to the concern, that has been a concern and a topic with the engineers. We have another school that's in a similar situation with all new rooftop units. That would be the intermediate school, and we've been talking about that schedule and how it's going to take place and when it's going to start. And they are coming up with a lot of kind of ways of, there's a lot of work that can be done while the school's closed inside, and then there's the work to be done up on the roof. So it's a timing aspect of it. So yes, we're diligently looking at all of the project management time schedule and how to do, how to make sure that these things happen so that we can, worst case scenario, we're going into, finishing up the rooftop units come, let's say, the beginning of September, but everything's up and running when we need it to be running.
Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
Councilor Burdick?
I just had one question, just for my own curiosity. How many more years do you see in the useful life of this building? I know it's almost 30 years old, but we tend to run our schools right into the ground here, so I'm just curious. How many more years do you think?
This particular building is it's the newest building in the district, and if this building is taken care of correctly, it could go another 30, 40 years. I mean, this school has a lot of modern design elements in it. I think it just hasn't been taken care of properly, or I think it's one of those things where it's the newest school, so it needs the least amount of work. But come to find out, I think it kind of got tripped over, and now it's time to get the HVAC working correctly, get the building shell and envelope adequately working as it should, and the gutter system, everything else that goes on with this building. But I definitely see this building lasting at least beyond 30 years, another 30. You're welcome.
Councilor Ledke?
Yeah, just one last follow-up, kind of based on what Councilor Schnepp was getting at with the different fuel sources. As you do this design, you look at different things, would geothermal be considered? Are you going to really open it up?
Yes, yeah, we're going to completely open it up. I mean, but again, I don't want to give them the go-ahead right now without knowing that we, can give them the time to do it. But all options should be looked at. I mean, there's also, keep in mind, there's also a sewer treatment plant or a pump station on that facility that's going to be changing. That could be changing a lot of things around the environment of that building. I mean, that could be playing a little bit, contributing to the moisture of that parcel of land. But a lot of those factors are being played into it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Tamish.
Yes.
Turkelson.
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Levesque.
Yes.
Ledke.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
Penn.
Yes.
Schnepp.
Yes.
12 yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Neary, if you could, I don't want you to feel left out, that side of the dais.
Thank you, President Tamish. This is old business. It's requiring a public hearing and a roll call, 2/3 full council vote. It's item number 2025-124. It's an appropriation and loan order in the amount of $500,000 for the purpose of funding the Barnstable High School gym floor. It's a replacement project as outlined in the fiscal year 2026 through fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan as written.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Madam Superintendent?
So this project is a replacement project for the Barnstable High School gym floor. There's buckling in a portion of the floor, which is first and foremost a safety issue impacting not only extracurriculars and sports, but also curriculum and instruction through our PE program. Doug, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, just that the justification of this is when the existing floor was installed, the existing parquet floor was installed, it was installed by a method of installing plywood on top of the rubber and on top of the old rubber flooring. And the existing floor is now lifting in some areas due to the plywood underneath it is buckling, and it's lifting the parquet floor. And we've had several repairs done to it. It's becoming costly. And additionally, the repairs caused the gym to be closed. and for several days, which prevents the high school sports from practicing and hosting games. Luckily, the last biggest one you see in the pictures here has been in a corner that we've been kind of containing, but this could happen in the middle of the floor. So it is a safety concern, and the floor should be taken up and done properly and put back down with a new floor.
Do you know when this floor was reconstructed? Because I vaguely remember it being done. Didn't seem like that long ago, but sometimes you lose track of time.
I want to say I think it's like almost 10 years now. Like 8 to 10 years is when I looked it up. It's not that old,
Right.
not at all. But when you walk on it, you would feel like it's old.
Yeah.
And it's the plywood underneath it, unfortunately. I mean, I think the method at the time might have been a great idea. It might have been a cost savings, but unfortunately, if any water gets below the parquet floor and the plywood gets wet, then the plywood is what's buckling or coming off the rubber floor. And that's what you're seeing in some of the pictures. And it's just, I walked it this morning. I was in the high school today, and the floor is kind of spongy in areas. So you can tell that the plywood's lifting off the rubber. So it's just a matter of time where it's going to become even more dangerous.
Sure. Right. Councilor Neary?
Thank you, President Tam. This is the gym, so this is the basketball courts, volleyball courts. This is not the field house.
Correct. This is the main gym.
Thank you.
Anyone else on my left? On the right, Councilor?
Thank you very much, President Tamish.
Vice President Clark?
By any chance, can this, whatever is left that is good about this floor, can it be repurposed or recycled somehow?
I'm being told no. Even when we had to do the patch that you're seeing in the pictures, I mean, that was new parquet that had to come in. So when they kind of lift it up or rip it up, it comes apart. It almost crumbles in your hand. I mean, we could try and sell it off or auction it off to students, but no, it would have to be all new. Welcome.
Firewood.
Yeah.
Anyone else on my right? My left? Madam Clerk? Oh, excuse me, I didn't open a public hearing, did I? Yeah, okay. At this point, I'd like to declare the public hearing to be open. Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard? Mr. Barron?
Yeah, Ken Barron, Centerville. I recently attended a Centerville Civic Associating meeting. I'd like to give credit to Kristen Turkelson, Councilman Turkelson, and President Tamish for bringing up the issue of speeding. Very important issue. I remember when I first started learning to drive, the term speed kills was paramount, and I really appreciate you bringing that up for the safety of our citizens. As a suggestion, maybe speed traps, handing out speeding tickets, that's always a good deterrent.
Mr. Barron, this public comment is limited to this article.
Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring it up anyway.
Thank you for that anyway.
That's all.
Thank you. Okay. Any further public comment? Anyone online? Seeing none, I will declare the public hearing to be closed. Any council discussion, which we actually already had, I guess. Madam Clerk?
Councilors. Turkelson.
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Levesque.
Yes.
Ludke.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
Penn.
Yes.
Schnepp.
Yes.
Tamish.
Yes.
12 yes, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Burdick, if you could do 2025-125, please.
Thank you. It's an item of old business for a public hearing, a roll call, 2/3 majority vote of the full council. Item 2025-125, appropriation and loan order in the amount of $550,000 for the purpose of funding the Barnstable High School Culinary Kitchen Phase 2 project as outlined in the fiscal year 2026 through fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Dr. Ahern?
Thank you. So this project is phase 2 of the Culinary Arts Kitchen build-out at Barnstable High School. There had been an appropriation in FY25, as well as Massachusetts Department of Education Capital Skills Grant to build out the kitchen. The design of it has been completed, and we're seeking approval for a second allocation in order to complete it through this second phase. Doug, do you have any more details?
Well, just this project would include HVAC and the commercial exhaust equipment, all necessary infrastructure to support the Culinary Arts Massachusetts Skill Grant Program. And that's the largest cost of this project is probably the mechanical and unforeseen items. But yeah, and then addition of this facility would provide the necessary teaching space to prepare students who are interested in pursuing a career in food and service industry.
Okay, thank you. At this point, I'd like to declare the public hearing to be opened on this item. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak regarding this item? Seeing no one online, I declare the public hearing to be closed. Council discussion. Councilor Turkelson?
If this money is appropriated, how much further financially will you need in order to have this be completed so students can actually begin this programming?
It's our estimate that this would complete the project, and we would be able to work on it this summer into the fall and have it be done maybe October timeframe?
Correct.
And how many students do you anticipate will be participating in the Massachusetts Skills Capital Grants or the Culinary Arts Massachusetts Skills Capital Grants program?
I don't have the exact number, I'm sorry, but it is one of our most popular pathways. So we have dozens of students who are participating in the culinary arts.
And what other programs do we offer that aren't traditional academics, like reading, writing, and arithmetic?
We have several pathway programs. One is through business and entrepreneurship. We have environmental science environmental science and engineering. We have a certified nursing assistant program. We have an early childhood program that we're expanding to not just be early childhood, but other education careers. These are some of the formal ones that we have through the Department of Education, either through non-Chapter 74 vocational programs or what they call innovation pathways. I'm not touching upon all of them, but those are some of our main ones. Culinary is one of our most popular.
I guess I'm just struggling with, if it sounds like a program that would be more appropriate for like our tech schools. So, and here we are putting in something that I'm assuming would be in a tech school environment. I mean, how many hours a week are kids in this program? Are they outside of their classroom and in this aspect of the program? Or are they in the culinary all day, every day?
They're not immersed in the culinary all day, every day. They complement their culinary arts classes with, like you said, English and math and social studies. The culinary arts is a kind of pathway that they have to complete the rest of their credits in a very targeted way. I mean, it's not as large as what you would see in the Cape Tech program, but this would be a more fuller experience. There is a hospitality component to it as well.
And do students currently, sorry I'm taking up so much time, everybody, do students currently, if they're in this program, are they going to our local businesses and learning skills? I mean, it sounds like we don't have enough employees in our businesses.
There's a strong internship program at the high school, and so certainly students in the culinary arts can do that. They are also getting some industry certifications, including ServSafe certification through the culinary arts.
I think it's great that you're doing this. Interest in the tech schools has surged, and I mean they're bursting at the seams. So there's just another pathway for kids to take. Council Burdick, did you have something?
I was just curious, how much, what was the total amount of grant funding that was allocated to this?
It was like 300.
I think it was 350,000, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
350.
350.
Thank you. Councilor Ledke?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo Councilor Tamish's comments. You know, I have a child at the high school. She's in the child development program, so I understand how well it folds in. And believe me, there's no shirking of the academic program when you do these other programs. And as you alluded to, you know, our tech schools are still merit-based. There is some talk afoot about having them be a lottery program, but they are merit-based. So not everybody gets in who should, and perhaps they don't want to apply there for various reasons. And I think this really fits in beautifully to give our students a well-rounded education and give them those opportunities that they might get at a tech school. And again, I can't say enough good things about the Barnstable Public Schools with, you know, as I say, the 4 children in there and 1 right in the high school. And, you know, I mean, she has a full academic load. They do everything. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Levesque?
Thank you, President Tamish, and not to repeat already, again, President Tamish did a great job introducing that. Councilor Lucky, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, this thing basically started off with hot plates and microwaves and giving kids an opportunity that wouldn't have an opportunity to go with the tech, and what you've done with that program, reinvigorating the food truck, all kinds of things that are happening at the school, and in regards to the culinary, and it is such an important part of our local economy, and it'll really give these kids an opportunity. Again, the career pathways at Barnstable High School is bar none outside of a vocational. It's you know, again, having 2 sons go through the program, the entrepreneurship, be part of DECA, what Mr. Jansen does there, and everybody else, Mr. Vincent, if I'm correct, right? Vince, Andrew, right? Yes, correct. And so they've just such a great job, and again, the opportunity to train these kids in a much needed work environment, and have an opportunity to do that again, and really just not have an opportunity. English as a second language. All these kids that come into the high school that they missed the boat on the technical high school. And I also give you a lot of credit too, because that's a lot. It's very competitive. We have 2 competitive. You know, when you go for that grade, you're competing against those tech schools for that funding. So I give you a lot of credit for that, for going after that for our kids. So thank you.
Thank you. Any further? Councilor Boom?
Thank you, Mr. President. Do you think these figures will stand regarding, you know, the uncertainty of tariffs and that sort of thing?
I'm honestly, I'm not. I mean, I would hope we're assuming they will, but I mean, one can never tell. We won't be going out to final bid until July or June. So I mean, things could change, but we're basing it on the pricing we receive for all the culinary equipment, the HVAC equipment, and a little bit of you know, with some you know, possible inflation, but we're hoping it's going to hold.
Yeah, I think this number, because we've had a first phase, is kind of a solid estimate based on work with architects thus far. The rest, you know, it's just uncertain, and we're not quite sure. But this is our best estimate.
I think all the numbers are crapshoot today.
I wanted to finish by saying I think you chose the right guy to do this. He really is impressing me tonight with.
Well, thank you.
With his understanding of what's going on.
Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Bloom.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Levesque.
Yes.
Ludke.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
Penn.
Yes.
Schnapp.
Yes.
Tamish.
Yes.
Turkelson.
Yes.
12 yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Bloom?
Mr. President, I'm going to have to recuse myself from this item.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Bloom, if you could read in 2025-126, please.
Sure. I knew I was going to be reading this. That's why I asked that last question. This is old business, public hearing, roll call, 2/3 full council. Item 2025-126, appropriation and loan order in the amount of $3 million for the purpose of funding the Barnstable High School Performing Arts Center upgrade project as outlined in the fiscal year 2026 through 2030 capital improvement plan.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Dr. Ahern?
So this proposal is for $3 million to improve the conditions at the Performing Arts Center. An amazing space, amazing community space used by Barnstable High School students, but also rented out for the symphony and other renters. But it is tired and does need some repair and some upgrades. There's some images on the second of these two slides, and Doug can talk in a little bit more detail about what these funds would go towards.
Thank you. I'll just add some of the justifications, and there are a number of compelling reasons that we need to repair and upgrade the Barnstable High School Performing Arts Center, the most rented space in the district. Improved sound quality. A failing sound system can make it difficult for performers to be heard and for audiences to enjoy the performances. We're looking to upgrade the sound system, which will improve the quality of the performances and make the BHS Performing Arts Center a more attractive venue for renters. Improved safety. A ripped fire curtain is a safety hazard. Fire curtains are designed to contain fires and prevent them from spreading to other parts of the building. Repairing the main fire curtain will improve safety in the Performing Arts Centers for audience and staff. Increased revenue, as again I mentioned above, the Performing Arts Center is a popular venue for a variety of events, including school performances, concerts, plays, community events. Repairing and keeping the Performing Arts Center current is vital to this district. Improved morale, well-maintained Performing Arts Center is a source of pride for the school and the community. Repairing and upgrading the Performing Arts Center will show that the district is committed to providing students with the best possible facility. In addition to these benefits, repairing, upgrading the BHS Performing Arts Center can also help to attract new students and staff to the district. A well-maintained Performing Arts Center is a sign that the district is committed to the arts and to providing students with a well-rounded education.
Very good, thank you. At this point, I'd like to open the public hearing. Is there anyone here from the public who would like to be heard on this article? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing. Council discussion. Councilor Burdick.
I have a question, not directly related to this particular one, but more something that I thought of because of what Charlie was saying. And I know that you work with the finance department and the town manager and the production of the capital budget and all. How closely did and based on your response to what Charlie asked before, how closely did your methodology for calculating what may be the variances in these capital items based on what's going on in the economy, how closely did that track with what we did in our capital budget, meaning the reiteration of it based on the changing situation?
So based on the potential changes to the situation, Town Manager Ells did ask all of us who were putting forward capital proposals to re-examine and reconsider and really take a close look at what we were putting forward. Because of some of the deferred maintenance and the conditions that we're really seeking to address, we felt like we couldn't take anything off of the plate and wanted to continue to move forward. In terms of the figures, again, there's so much uncertainty that we went forward with the figures that we had initially put forward. But we did take another look as a team to make sure that we were putting forward what we felt was responsible.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Vice President Clark.
Thank you very much, President Tamish, and thank you for the presentation. There have been rare occasions, where the town has utilized the Performing Arts Center with the need to videotape and the meetings. And will these enhancements or repairs be able to address some of those challenges?
Absolutely. First and foremost, I would believe, as the sound system, and that's why I was at the top of it, was making sure that that the PAC, the Performing Arts Center, is usable in that aspect, and then safety comes second, and then cosmetic will have to come third as budget allows.
Very good. Councilor Crowe.
Thank you, Chairman Tamish. Could you all tell me what the net revenues have been for, say, the last 3 years for this Performing Arts Center? And also one more follow-up, where do those revenues go once they're received?
Any rental income goes into a revolving account that would then have to be used towards anything kind of facilities related regarding upkeep. We don't generate an enormous profit. I don't have the number off the top of my head. We could probably do a little research. Chris Dwelly will do a little bit of research and get us a number for you.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Councilor Schnapp?
Oop, thank you. My first question is going to be a follow-up to Councilor Crowe in terms of the revenue. I know one of the largest users beyond our own school is the symphony. And before I even ask this question, I want to say how much I think our Performing Arts Center is really a jewel, an asset for our entire community. So I am very much in support of maintaining it and upgrading as necessary. But this is an opportunity to ask a few questions. And one is, what is the status of the symphony's use of the facility? They've often had discussions and attempts to try to move to another facility. So do you see them as a long-term user? Do we have a lease agreement with them? What is the sort of expectation that the symphony will continue to use the space?
So great question. There was a long-term lease that expires June 30th, but we've been in discussion with the symphony over the course of this past year, and we do anticipate that they will be a continued long-time user of the Performing Arts Center.
Okay. One of the things I've noticed when I've been at the facility is the lack of Wi-Fi access, and given that so much information is now conveyed through QR codes, and there's much less use of paper programs, it is sometimes frustrating to be able to access information because it's a Wi-Fi desert. So is that another, in addition to the sound system being upgraded, will there be some additional access for Wi-Fi?
I think that's a great consideration. One issue might not be that it's a desert, but that there's so many people or so many devices that are looking to connect that there's a lot of interference. And there are some things that our team does, for example, during MCAS testing, to make sure that the signals are strong enough and that the network is configured appropriately. We can certainly take that back and keep it under consideration and see what might be a good solution there, because Wi-Fi certainly does feel as fundamental as water and electricity
Right.
nowadays. So.
Okay. And the last question is just to put this in perspective. I'm assuming there really haven't been any significant upgrades to the Performing Arts Center for 30 plus years?
Yeah, that's correct. Okay. It's been a while.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Neary.
Just a quick follow-up, and thank you again for the presentation. This is one of the most expensive items, right, on the budget this year. And but to put in perspective, we don't have a performing arts center anywhere in town anymore, right? We don't even have a space for it. So, in order to build a new one, it's going to cost a lot more than these numbers here. So I think that we would be remiss if we do not, improve this place and really make it something that people will enjoy coming to for a long time. And it's underneath our cover, right? We don't own it, but we own it, right? So I think we should fix it. Thank you.
Councilor Mendes.
Thank you, President Tamish.
All buildings.
With the economic uncertainty right now, things like this, as a school department or as a town, we have to make a concerted effort to market this thing. For too long, we have assets that could be marketed and used by the public for different things, but they're always restrictive on what you can do with them. So this is a prime example about how we can monetize something and have it generate revenue for the town. Because I don't care what anybody says, we're all gonna have to tighten our belts. Every department of the town, schools, police, us, we're all gonna have to tighten our belts. So we're gonna have to come up with unique ways to stop monetizing some of the assets that the town has. That's all I wanted to say.
Very good, thank you. Counselor Smith?
Thank you, President Tamish. This is a question that sort of went back to another question of the timing. I'm assuming that when do you anticipate this project actually occurring, and are you able to work within the schedule of the symphony and the other uses of the school to do a fairly significant renovation in that space?
Yeah, we absolutely should be able to work around the symphony schedule as well as around the school schedule. I mean, and if it's phased and it's not completely, gutting, rehabbing, and remodeling the pack. But it's basically making improvements behind the scenes, behind the curtain, replacing the curtain. Chairs, they've been replaced over the years. They've been repaired, fixed. I think in the past they used to buy parts and pieces and fix them without anybody ever knowing it. But now those things are becoming obsolete. So yes, and it would be phased in and scheduled in when it could. Like if we were going to replace the seating, we would find a time when there's an opportunity time to do them. If we have to do it in sections, we'll do it in sections. But yes, we would never. I don't think our plan is to ever shut the pack down for renovation.
President Tamish, I have a response
Okay,
to Councilor
about the
Crowe.
funding.
So all of our building event space brings in $170,000 in revenue a year. And the symphony, which wasn't part of the question, but is a detail I do have here, pays just under $38,000 a year.
Thank you. Counselor Turkelson?
Thank you, President Tamish. I know we had the renovation of the landing property, and that was town-owned, and we were able to renegotiate the lease there, and significantly increase revenue there. So I'm hoping that, I don't know who's responsible for the contracting. We haven't signed a contract, it sounds like, so this will be an opportunity to go back to the symphony and renegotiate a long-term lease. $38,000 doesn't seem like enough revenue for such a utilized space, having been a symphony member for a long time. I think that, like Councilor Mendez is saying, and Councilor Schnapp and Councilor Crowe and others here, we maybe need to do a better job on contracting so that we're monetizing the space, putting in $3 million here. So that's not a return on investment looking at those numbers. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Letke?
Just piggybacking on Councilor Mendez's question, do you have a marketing plan right now? Or do you just, people come, do you have an active marketing plan?
Katri may want to speak around the marketing piece. Before she was the deputy director for facilities, she had been our kind of facilities rental coordinator. The symphony does use the space for a significant amount of time, and then we have our student activities. And I don't know if you've seen what's happening lately, but it's really amazing to see what's going on in our performing arts department and the amount of programs that are expanding and the amount of plays and theaters and all of that. So, Katri, do you mind if Katri speaks a little bit to Councilor Letke?
Hi, I'm Katri Mullally, Deputy Director of Facilities, and as Dr. Ahern mentioned, I had been the facilities booking coordinator for 9 years before receiving this position in November. So I can tell you that we don't have an active marketing plan for the Performing Arts Center. However, in my time here, the popularity has increased, word of mouth has gotten out. Most weekends there is something going on in that space, not so much in the summertime, whether it's a school event or the symphony. We also have a lot of dance companies that will come and do competitions, showcases. In fact, in June, we have back-to-back 3-day dance competitions coming in. We have inquiries all the time from people who put on productions, asking us if we would like to have them come to us. They see us as almost as a producer ourselves, and we have to explain that we're not a producer. You can come and bring your own production here. So it is a very popular spot, and a marketing plan might be something that we can do. We are considering creating a landing page for facilities, and that could be something that we can include there, that we have the space.
Thank you. And by the way, I wanted to congratulate you on your new position.
Thank you. Craig was a previous boss of mine, so.
Councilor Mendez.
Thanks again. Not to pick on this one particular item, but I'm going to pick on this one particular item. Pretty soon we're going to be asking people for a tax increase. It's coming. It's coming. So we need to do what we can to monetize everything we can. For too long, the school department in particular has been very strict with their facilities and their grounds as far as rentals. I know people who've tried to rent things from the school department. They said it's nearly impossible. And you're going to have to stop pulling some weight around here, because people are going to be in upheaval if the school department doesn't trim their fat like everybody else, because it is coming. So it's high time we started getting prepared, and we need to start thinking out of the box as a town, not just the school department, but the whole town. We need to monetize the assets that we have, because it's going to take us all to fill the bucket. We don't want services to stop, but it's coming. And so you better, we need to, as a town, monetize everything we can, including this Performing Arts Center, because our constituents are going to ask us, what are we investing this money for? Of course, the kids take priority, but $178,000 isn't a lot of money. And that's what they're going to look at. We put millions into this to get not even $200,000 a year. That's just not sufficient. I can't explain that to my constituents. That's not sufficient. We need to do better.
Thank you. Councilor Crowe.
I'd have to agree with what Councilor Mendez just said. We're all going to have to tighten our belts, including the school department. I would like to ask you a question. What are the rental rates for that space right now?
I knew you were going to ask that question. It is a great question. They were recently increased, so as of July 1st, I believe the rental for a for-profit organization to use the PAC for the day is around, I want to say $3,000 or $4,000. I apologize, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but
Okay.
It did increase by 25% from the last time we made increases, which was in fiscal 2020, I believe. So the rates have gone up for our auditoriums, for our gyms, and I can tell you that our gyms are full. They are absolutely full Monday through Friday, every single week throughout the year. We've had to turn people away because we don't have the space, at least with gym space. And, as I said, our fees are going to increase on July 1st. The majority of them are those spaces where there are additional amenities, such as dressing rooms, use of the scoreboard, all that kind of thing. So, but the spaces for classrooms and our grass fields have remained the same because they don't have a lot of those amenities that come along with it.
As a person who studied economics, the demand exceeds supply, which means that there is an ability to raise those rates and not have a drop-off on those who are using it. So I would consider maybe relooking at your rate increases. And like I said, there's a break-even point, okay, or a point that people won't rent at a certain rate. But until that point, you maybe start to think about pushing up those rates if the demand exceeds what you have. So it's just an idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Turkelson.
Thank you, President Tamish. Just one other thought about the marketing concept. I think you mentioned that there's an entrepreneur and a business track that the kids have the opportunity to participate in. I'm assuming some of those kids might be some of the theater kids or the performing art kids. And I mean, maybe this is something that is a project that the students start with, making that landing page, and they know the space well. It's their school. They have pride in those, those facilities. We as the town love to hire consultants. I'd hate to say we're going to spend $50,000 on a consultant if it really doesn't get us much. I'm sure hopefully it would, but just a thought is we have this, we have this entrepreneur in this business program. Maybe there's some opportunity to have some real life experience where kids have buy-in and we can work in our own community. Thank you.
I'd
Any
also
further
like to,
discussion?
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Did you-
I'd like to say, though, there are also options for grants, and I've already been in discussion with the drama director at the high school, talking about grants that are available, like for our new curtain. There are companies out there that we've worked with in the past, and the students themselves that are in the drama club and the music department are actively involved in the use and upkeep of the space, specifically the Performing Arts Center. They are the ones who are learning how to use the stage ringing, the lights, the sound. So it is similar to the career pathways that you heard about earlier. And I know that the current musical director is looking to expand that program for students. And we've talked a little bit, he and I, a little bit about how we can make that happen. The other thing I wanted to just point out is that we also now have a district AV technician that we hired in December, who has been instrumental in being able to look at the equipment that we currently have and what is working, what is not, and being able to talk with potential vendors. He came from the Mass Maritime Academy, so he has a lot of experience in that field and has been an asset for us to be able to figure out, how much is it going to cost to make this happen and to, bring the PAC back to the level that it was back when it opened in 1999.
Thank you. Councilor Lutke?
Just to follow up, a lot of people are kind of pushing stuff on the school here, but we have other assets in the town, like Azleton Park, and that gets used by different people. I just think there might be an opportunity to talk with, I don't know, Mr. Ells, who does that? How do people know about Azleton Park? Would there be an opportunity to coordinate with the school, not just say, school, do this, why don't we work as a town together to leverage our various and, maybe how Azleton is marketed. Maybe when somebody comes to the town, they see the various venues. It shouldn't just be school and then other stuff.
Okay. Councilor Crowe?
One last quick point. We have a large population here in our town. They come from countries where their favorite sport is actually soccer. It would seem that there'd be a lot of young adults who work very hard here and want to blow off steam. They could use those fields, and to make it easier for them to do so, that would be good for the community and give them opportunities to blow off steam and have some recreation. So maybe it's another thing you should think about. There's another monetizing opportunity. I know insurance is always a problem, but there's ways it's done. It's been done for years, so let's see if we can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I think we covered that topic pretty well. Madam Clerk?
Councilors. Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Lutke.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
Henn.
Yes.
Schnepp.
Yes.
Tamish.
Yes.
Turkelson.
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
11 yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Town Manager Ells?
Good evening, Mark Ells. Thank you. To reinforce the discussion that's going on, and thank you, Councilor Mendez and others on Lutke on bringing this forward. Superintendent Ahern and I actually had these discussions this morning, and we recognize that we're in changing, potentially economic times, continued demand for service, and whatever services we provide in many cases are going to be more expensive. Where Mark Milne and I are going to be hopefully having a workshop with you all to talk about financial policy. Within that, we're going to want to talk about not just expense, but revenue, and all the different revenues, and what's our fiscal policy relevant to growth dollars. So I think that's I think for FY27, this is critical. In 26, it's planned at this point. And as we proceeded, I support the budgets as proposed. But I think for us to go into '27, we're going to have some very serious conversations about fiscal policy, both revenue and expense. And the council plays a significant role in that. Just finally, too, we always share information. The schools are there for us, we're there for them. There is no separation. So we just talked about permitting and whether leases or license, whatever the approach might be, is best for what we're trying to achieve. So that exists already. Thank you.
Thank you. It's 8:04. We're going to take 10 minutes. We'll be back at 8:14 or so.
Thank you, President Tamish. This is an item of old business requiring a public hearing and a roll call majority vote of the full council. It's item 2025-127, an appropriation order in that the amount of $200,000 for the purpose of funding the Barnstable West Barnstable Elementary School Gymnasium Floor Replacement Project as outlined in the fiscal year 2026 to fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan as written.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Dr. Ahern?
Great, thank you. So this project is a replacement of the gym floor at the Barnstable West Barnstable Elementary School. It has also been struggling with water damage and so is buckling and is a trip hazard. Doug?
Thank you. Thank you. The existing floor is buckling, as Dr. Ahern just mentioned, causing tripping hazards. There is an excessive wear in multiple locations on the floor. Prior repairs have resolved some of the problems temporarily. However, the buckling continues. There are several reasons to justify replacing an existing original to the building and greater than 60-year-old gym floor. One, safety. A worn-out gym floor can be a safety hazard for athletes and students. Over time, the wood floor can develop cracks, splinters, and unevenness. These can lead to slips, trips, and falls. A new gym floor would be safer and more durable. Maintenance, a new gym floor would be easier to maintain than an old floor. The old floor often requires frequent sanding and refinishing. A new floor would be more durable and require less maintenance. This would improve safety, performance, appearance, maintenance, and cost effectiveness. It would also improve overall morale of the school. As you see in some of the slides, the denial or postponement of this, the buckling will continue to worsen and create more of a tripping hazard. This floor has several repairs and patches, and it's a safety concern. As of right now, the gym teachers are stacking gym equipment or gym totes of whatnot at the area where the floor is actually buckling up so that the kids are not tripping on it. So not really utilizing the entire gym because of this. They're kind of keeping it to the other side of the gym. Luckily, the worst part of the buckling is like 2 feet from the wall. So it's just along one whole side of the wall. So that's why we're recommending, it's just time. It's time to rip out the whole floor and to do it correctly because the patching is kind of just causing some of the buckling.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to open the public hearing. So from the public that would like to be heard on this item. Seeing no one? Anyone online? Seeing no one? All right, I will close the public hearing. Councilors to my left, any discussion? Seeing none? My right, Councilor Turkelson?
Thank you, President Tamish. I see that there's no money set aside for design and permitting. It looks like there's 0 to 6 months for design and permitting, and then the construction's going to take 12 to 18 months. So I'm just wondering, like, why this project would take this long to get completed if there's not, or is there a design and permitting phase?
No, not necessarily. There should just be a permitting phase, and it's. I think that we had this on there. Is it would have to fall. This would fall after the main gym at the high school, and then you're going to notice that there's a gym floor at the intermediate school, and then there's this floor. So I think maybe in my mindset when I was putting this together, it was the duration and the scheduling of all three to hopefully happen this summer.
And in your scheduling of all three, I'm assuming you've prioritized most important to least important.
Correct.
In the scheduling?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And talking with one of the representatives and a floor, I guess, gymnasium's specialist, and he was talking about like the high school floor would be like, 4 to 6 weeks. The BIS would be like 3 to 4 weeks. And this floor could be like 2 weeks. So it was kind of a little bit of that. So definitely looking at and talking with consultants and engineers and how I came up with this.
The impatient part of me thinks if you add 4 and 4 and 4, it should be done sooner, so thank you for that explanation.
Welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Bloom?
Did I hear you correctly? This is the original floor?
Maybe a third of it. I mean, I'm saying it's original. It has not been completely, what I've been told and what I've learned about this is it's not been completely replaced. It's just been patched and repaired, patched and repaired, patched and repaired. Which they do to a lot of them, and this probably could have made it this long, but it's just time. The buckling is there's so much new up against so much old. And when I say new, even the new is at least 10 years old. So it's definitely, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilman, you also? Okay, seeing no one. Madam Clerk?
Counselors, Clark,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Levesque,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Penn,
Yes.
Schnapp,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson.
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
12 yes, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Lutke, if you could do 2025-128, please.
Thank you. This is old business. It's a public hearing and a roll call 2/3 full council vote required. Item 2025-128, appropriation and loan order in the amount of $250,000 for the purpose of funding the Barnstable Public Schools district-wide mechanical upgrades project as outlined in the fiscal year 2026 through fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan.
Second.
Moved and seconded, thank you. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you. I'll turn this over to Doug to describe the project.
Thank you. This project is a district-wide boiler, burners, and pump upgrade. This is district-wide. I believe this is our 4th year, and then we're calling out for the 5th year of it. Will be in 2027. It's been very helpful, very useful, because the justification for this is these mechanical upgrades, such as a variable frequency drive, VFD, which is an electronic device that controls the speed and torque of an electric motor in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, or new efficient boilers and water heaters, would be greater than a 15% energy saving when we put the new ones in. Additionally, many of the mechanical systems in our school are past their typical useful life. These systems consist of large pumps, boilers, water heaters, air handlers, and general piping systems. This would assist in the replacement of some of these systems should there be an unexpected failure. And we have been coming across these. Postponing this basically would put us into a need to fund unpredictable repairs from the general maintenance budget. Some of these repairs would be 30 to 50% of the entire maintenance budget, leaving less for planned maintenance and repairs. So what we're trying to do is get ahead of these and catching them before they go down, so that the school is not left with no heat from, weeks at a time. So throughout the district, we've been addressing the ones that are in need of assistance, needing of upgrading, and we've been taking care of that. And that's what this CIP is all about.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to open the public hearing. What's that? Anyone from the public would like to be heard on this item? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing. Council discussion. Any council discussion on my left? Seeing none. Council discussion on my right? Seeing none. Madam Clerk?
Counselors, Crow,
Yes.
Levesque,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Penn,
Yes.
Schnapp,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson.
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
12 yes.
Thank you. Vice President Clark, if you could do 2025-129, please.
Thank you very much, President Tamish. This is old business requiring a public hearing and a roll call vote of the 2/3 of the council. Agenda item 2025-129, appropriation and loan order in the amount of $350,000 for the purpose of funding the Barnstable Public Schools district-wide HVAC repairs project as outlined in the fiscal year 2026 to fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you. This project description, this is basically for HVAC efficiency upgrades to existing equipment across the district. This is to upgrade existing HVAC systems with energy-efficient components. Justification for this is that the existing HVAC equipment is in need. When I say the existing, I mean anything that's more than 3 to 5 years old is in need of energy-efficient upgrades throughout the district, and this CIP will help us to maintain that and to become more preventive maintenance on a lot of the equipment and to basically lower the extensive repair cost. Denial of this project could result in extensive repair costs.
Thank you. Okay, at this point, I'd like to open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public like to be here on this item? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing. Council discussion. Any council discussion? Council Ledke.
Thank you. Yes, just the way you presented it there, it sounds like it's an ongoing kind of a maintenance thing. Do you see this level of cost continuing throughout the out years? I mean, is this something you'd anticipate every year to, we've heard earlier about, we've gotten behind on things. Will this keep us on track?
That's the intent of the CIP, is to get us back on track. This is something that we've been absorbing, but haven't been able to get to a lot of these things. And I'm hoping with this CIP that we'll be able to address the deficiencies, address the issues. We've had each school, as they've had their air quality test done, right behind them, I've had a HVAC deficiency report and walk through with them. And each school, and we've taken care of the worst, but there are other schools that need to have the same thing that, I think Centerville had one, BWB had one, and now I got to take care of High West, Bickus, and keep going. And that the CIP will help that.
And you said get back on track, but will it stay on track? I mean, are you having a vision of just keeping these, a consistent funding,
No, not consistent funding, but I'm hoping to have it to get back on track, stay on track, and then have preventative maintenance in play and staying on top of maintenance and yearly preventative maintenance and care for this equipment. But a lot of it has been, there's an ever-changing world. I mean, the equipment is constantly modernizing, changing.
Yeah.
And if you don't stay up with it, then the equipment is kind of becoming outdated, even though it's actually still pushing air, still pushing heat. But some of these efficiencies will help us. Temper controls, ventilators, vents. It's a lot of little, and it's making sure that each school is running as efficiently as it should with the appropriate equipment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone on my left? Seeing no one, Madam Clerk?
Councilors. Levesque.
Yes.
Ledke.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
Penn.
Yes.
Schnapp.
Yes.
Tamish.
Yes.
Turkelson.
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
12 yes.
Thank you. Councilor Crowe, could you do 2025-130, please?
Thank you, President Tamish. This is an item of old business. It's open for a public hearing. Roll call, 2/3 full council. Item number 2025-130, appropriation and loan order in the amount of $250,000 for the purpose of funding the Barnstable Intermediate School, another gym floor replacement project as outlined in fiscal year 2026. Fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Dr. Ahern?
All right, thank you, everyone. Of course, this is for the Barnstable Intermediate School, replacing the gym floor. This will be the third gym that we're talking about this evening. This project includes removing the existing worn rubber floor and replacing it with a new parquet wood floor to include painting lines. The justification for this is this floor is rubber and worn in many spots, worn right down to where it's almost tripping hazards. And needing replacing. Safety, a worn-out floor can be a safety hazard for athletes and students. The appearance of this floor would improve the appearance of the gym this year to get us through this season, this winter season and this sports season. We painted the main gym lines just to give it the main basketball court lines, but the remaining part of the gym floor the side courts and whatnot are very worn out. They're unsightly, and the gym is not even used to its fullest capacity. Maintenance, of course, a new gym floor would be easier to maintain than this older floor. A new floor would be more durable and require less maintenance. And the new floor would be, of course, to basketball standards. This gym is, as Katri was mentioning earlier, it's very highly used. This one is rented out just as much as the high school gym is. And this would improve safety performance, appearance, maintenance, and cost effectiveness. It would also improve overall morale of the school community. And denial of this project would impact safety and full entire use of the gym.
Thank you. At this point, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone from the public would like to be heard on this item? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing. Council discussion. Councilor Turkelson.
Thank you, President Tamish. There isn't an estimated completion date on here, so I'm just wondering what the timeline looks like on this.
Well, if everything was to go well, like I said it previously, I mentioned earlier, it would be ideal if we could get these all bid out together, and that the receiving contractor that would get the main gym at the high school, the BIS gym, and then the BW gym, and that's where the completion date, and I apologize, it's not in there, I was having it at least be done by the fall of 2026.
Councilor Ledke?
Yeah, just curious, are you replacing it with an in-kind rubber, or are you going to wood?
No, we're going to wood. As I mentioned up at the beginning, we were looking to go to the parquet wood, the rubber. Like I said earlier on the BWB gym floor, we talked to consultants as well as a gym specialist, and he's highly recommending that we take up the rubber, go down to the concrete slab, and then put in the new parquet floor.
Councilor Crowe?
Okay, this is the third floor we're talking about, and plus the library floor coming up. How old is this floor, the rubber floor?
This particular floor, I would say close to 20 plus years.
20 plus?
Yep.
All right, so it's lasted 20 plus. How about the parquet floors? How long have they lasted on average?
I'm being told 20 to or more, because they can be sanded down, they can be repolished, they can be... They don't wear as much as these rubber floors. I think this one's also been, there's a way to skim it or put like another coat of rubber on it. It's just not a cost-effective way of doing a gymnasium floor these days.
Okay, the other floors that were parquet, how long did they actually last? I'm not saying that they're telling you the new floor will last 20 plus, but what about the old floors? How do they last? How long did they last? Parquet.
The parquet floors?
Yeah.
They should last 20 to 30 years.
No, how long have they lasted? We're replacing 2 of them already, and this is going to be...
No, we're not. No, the BWB is a hardwood floor, just a regular plank maple floor.
Okay.
Not parquet. The one at the gym at the high school is a parquet floor. It should have lasted if it was done right, but it was put on top of a rubber, on top of plywood, and they built a built-up ramp. You ramp up to that floor in the high school. The parquet is not failing. It's the plywood underneath it that's buckling at the high school.
Okay, I just, seems like we're not having any luck no matter what kind of surface we put down.
Councilor Schnapp.
Hopefully going forward, we'll have solved it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to keep this conversation going, is there ongoing maintenance of a parquet floor? I mean, is it something that has to be waxed?
Absolutely, yes. And the parquet floor, let's say at the high school, I think over each year it gets stripped, waxed, repolyurethaned. Even with the repair, the last repair, it was recommended to then strip the whole entire floor and redo it. But that's when we started to realize, for $40,000, we're just throwing money at a bad floor. So we had them just patch the area, and then basically repolyurethane that patch, and we finished out this year.
Okay. So in a sense, by converting from rubber to parquet, we are adding some operating expenses that I don't think rubber has required.
The rubber has required a yearly maintenance, and this one hasn't had it in quite a few years at BIS. So it hasn't been resurfaced, resealed. That's why the lines are disappearing and fading. The parquet floor will not be an every year thing. It'll be probably every 2 to 3 years where we do the floor, sand it down, and give it a nice luster. It's more about the look than it is about the wear. I mean, the polyurethane will start to fade off.
Last question or comment. This gym, which I believe is at least twice, if not 3 times as large as BWB, is only $50,000 more. I'm hoping that maybe BWD is cheaper, and this one is, it just seems like these estimates are a little off given the size of the floors. But
And that's a good question, and I knew that would come up. It's because of the labor and the labor of taking up the old wood floor, prepping that old wood floor. And I even asked the gym specialist on this one, and he said, no, this rubber floor comes up very easy with a machine. Bing, bang, boom, they put down the new one. And that's why I think they're concerned more with the timing and the labor at BWB. And that's why I think I made sure that they weren't, that we had it in there, so.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Turkelson?
I guess I don't know the difference between a wood floor and a parquet floor. But if the wood floor lasted 60 years and a parquet floor lasts 20 to 25, why aren't we putting in wood floors versus parquet floors?
The parquet floor is more flexible if it needed for repairs than the wood floor. The wood floor at BWB was basically just a large ballroom-style wood floor in that room. I don't know if that room was meant to be multi-purpose, but it's just a maple floor that was put down in an elementary school floor. That wood floor, like I said, is it all there for 60 years? No. I would think I could probably find 10% of it, 20% of it that's original wood. So a lot of that floor's been replaced. Parquet, it's the new and more efficient or more cost-effective way to put down a gym floor.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion? Madam Clerk?
Councilors, Ledke,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Penn,
Yes.
Schnapp,
yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Levesque.
Yes.
12 yes, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Mendez, if you could read in 2025-131, the last item in the Barnstable Schools 2026 Year of the Floor.
Yes, certainly, Mr. President. This is item number 2025-131. It's old business. It's referred to a public hearing. Roll call majority vote of the full council. Appropriation order in the amount of $162,700 for the purpose of funding the Barnstable Intermediate School Library Floor Replacement Project. I'm in the wrong business, man. As outlined in the fiscal year 2026, fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan.
Second.
Thank you. Dr. Ahern?
So Doug can share some of the details, but you'll see a theme. One of the areas of concern we have is on safety. And the rug at the Barnstable Intermediate School is a significant safety concern. There's some images being shown here of some of the rips in the carpet. It is an aged carpet that we are proposing to replace.
Thank you. The goal of this project is to remove the existing carpet at the BIS library and the carpet replaced with a resilient rubber flooring that is low maintenance or carpet tile. Speaking with some of the air quality folks and some of our mold remediation companies, they're pushing for a carpet tile. Project justification, the existing carpet at this school is stained, it's torn, it's peeling in many locations. This carpet needs to be commercially cleaned every year, costing thousands of dollars in maintenance. The following reasons are why it's necessary to replace the library carpet at Barnstable Intermediate School with a low-maintenance, rubberized backed carpet tiles. Rubberized back carpet tiles are much easier to maintain. The resilient flooring has a longer lifespan than carpet, so it saves the school money in the long time, but the carpet tiles can be swapped out as necessary and will continue to absorb the noise level desired. That was the second concern was that putting in a resilient flooring in a library, especially this library, BUE, and I think one other one, with the vaulted cathedral ceilings, would not be a desired noise level. And by replacing the library carpet, Barnstable Intermediate School can create a more hygienic, durable, and attractive space for students to learn and explore. Denial would cause safety and tripping hazards as well as increased maintenance cost.
Thank you. I will open the public hearings from the public that would like to be heard on this article. Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing. Council discussion. Any discussion on my left? Any discussion on my right? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilors Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Penn,
Yes.
Schnepp,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Levesque,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
12 yes.
Thank you. Councilor Schnepp, if you could do 2025-132, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is an item of old business requiring a public hearing and a roll call 2/3 vote of the full council. Item number 2025-132, appropriation loan order in the amount of $2.1 million for the purpose of funding the Barnstable Intermediate School rooftop unit replacement project is outlined in the fiscal year 2026-fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you. Doug will detail some of the aspects of this project, but it is an extension of a project that originated in FY23 related to rooftop units on BIS, and this is an additional request for an appropriation based on additional equipment failure, actual costs coming in after bids, and Doug can talk a little bit more about those details.
Thank you. So this project is a complete replacement of all of the HVAC rooftop units at Barnstable Intermediate School. The justification is the existing RTUs are greater than 25 years old. In many units, the air conditioning compressors have failed and replacement parts are no longer available, leaving a majority of the school building without ample cooling. The project originated, as Dr. Ahern just said, in fiscal year 23, but due to additional equipment failure and adding an engineering design and scope changes, costs have increased. The impact of this denial of this CIP funding would result in the project not getting completed and the school not having adequate airflow. Postponement would increase cost once again.
Thank you. I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that would like to be heard on this item? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing. Council discussion. In 23, how much was appropriated? Do you know?
Do you have it? I don't have it on me.
I don't have it on me.
It was, I think, 5 or 600,000. I mean, sorry, 5 or 6 million, close to 6 million, just under 6 million. And the prices that were coming in over 7 or close to 7. So this would basically making sure that we incorporated some of the inflations and the additional costs that are being in there. So that's what we're.
Okay. And with the tariffs and everything else, you think this is still going to be adequate?
We adjusted for that on this one, but I'm being told by the engineers, the same engineers that are working or will be working on BUE, that as of right now, they're not seeing an issue, but things could change.
Thank you. Any comment on my left? Councilor Neary.
Thank you, President Tamish. Just a couple questions that I would have. Doug, I could have, my memory serves me, I thought that these came up in prior year appropriations, maybe, right? So were they never done? Is that what happened on those appropriations? I thought we were doing maybe 4 a year at $4 million, and then I think the total was like 19 grand.
Well, that's what you just said, that they came in at 7 million instead of the 5 that was appropriated.
So they were not acted upon?
Either they weren't done, all I know is that when I came on board, drawings were not completed. The drawings got, once they were finalized and completed, we went out to bid, and when we went out to bid, it might have been, like you said, there might have been a couple years of funding, and put both of those years put together, then you go out to bid, and we still came in without funding, without appropriate funds to support this project. And that's what this ask is for, is to get us to finish the project and to do it correctly.
As a point, like, we're looking at the past, and it looks like it's basically saying project is still in design, which is interesting, and I think it was 2022-122, so it's been going on. But just as a follow-up to my fellow Councilor Bloom's comment, so I think at that point, these units were about 980,000, Charlie, and now they're 2.1. So they have gone up in terms of cost.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Councilors. Neary.
Yes.
Penn.
Yes.
Schnepp.
Yes.
Tamish.
Yes.
Turkelson.
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Levesque.
Yes.
Ludke.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
12 yes.
Thank you. Councilor Neary, could you do 2025-133, please?
With pleasure, President Tamish. This is old business requiring a public hearing and a roll call majority vote of the full council. It's item number 2025-133. It's an appropriation order in the amount of $80,000 for the purpose of funding the demolition of the old portables project as outlined in the fiscal year 2026 through fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan as written.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Dr. Ahern?
Thank you. So this project is a proposal for funding to demolish old portables that served the food services and the transportation offices at one point in time. They are a significant safety concern as well as just a real eyesore in the locations.
Correct. And I'll just add that these portables have been vacant for more than 3 years, and they are an eyesore and a breeding ground for mice and other rodents, and they become a danger as access into them continues to be boarded up after breaking and entering occurs. Demolishing these portable would improve appearance of the Barnstable High School and facilities campus. It would also improve the overall morale of the school committee. I mean, we're at the point where parents are coming to my office wondering why they're still there. So this would hopefully get rid of them this summer.
Very good, thank you. I'd like to open the public hearing. Anyone from the public like to be heard on this item? Seeing no one?
No, but I would just like to bring to your attention that Councilor Penn
I
has
was gonna
signed off.
mention that. Thank you. Madam Clerk, thank you. All right, seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. Council,
Oh, no, just waiting for public hearing.
public hearing is closed. Councilor Schnepp.
Thank you, President Tamish. I'm just going to throw it out there. These look like they're metal. Is there any way to recycle these things? Do we have to spend a lot of money, or could somebody want to pick them up, recycle?
We've looked into all options on how to get rid of these, donate them, give them away. They're almost to the point of unsafe to travel. So they'll have to be demolished in place and then scrapped. And I'm assuming that any contractor coming in to do this is going to be looking at some recoupable funding But at this point, they need to be removed from the property.
Okay.
Any further questions, discussion? Council Ledke?
I was just curious, where did the food service people go?
They have an office right near the main cafeteria in the high school, so they have an office back there.
All right. Council Crowe?
Has it been considered that this will deprive the graffiti artists of spaces to use to do their art?
You know, there's not too much graffiti on them, I don't think.
I'm surprised.
It was more, the culinary one is more concerning because it was literally, I think, the weekends where people were breaking and entering.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Tamish.
Yes.
Turkelson.
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Levesque.
Yes.
Ludke.
Yes.
Mendez.
This is a tough one, but yes.
Neary.
Yes.
11 yes, thank you.
Thank you. Council Levesque, do 2025-134, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is old business, public hearing, roll call, 2/3 majority of the vote of the council. This is item number 2025-134, appropriation loan order in the amount of $507,600 for the purpose of funding the Barnstable High School exhaust fan replacement project as outlined in the fiscal year 2026, fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan as written.
Thank
Second.
you. Second. Moved and seconded. Dr. Ahern?
Thank you. Doug can talk a little bit more about the details for this, but again, it's part of our effort to address and monitor and maintain healthy indoor air quality across our buildings, and this is for the high school.
Thank you. The goal of this project will be to replace the existing exhaust fans at Barnstable High School. I'm being told that several of them are not working and in need of major repair. Parts are basically hard to come by and non-existent. There are a number of compelling reasons why the Barnstable High School should replace its belt-driven exhaust fans with new direct drive units. Many of these exhaust fans have failing parts, and these parts are hard to, they're no longer available. Direct drive exhaust fans are more efficient, reliable, quieter, and last longer. Direct drive fans do not have any belts or pulleys that can slip or break. Direct drive fans are more efficient, reliable, quiet, and durable than belt-driven fans. They can also help to improve the energy efficiency of the school building and save money on utility bills. Denial of postponement would be continued downtime due to the age of the existing fans and parts failing. And this, as Dr. Ahern just mentioned, poses a risk to indoor air quality, especially in the summer and humid months. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that would like to be heard on this item? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing and council discussion. On my right, on my left, Madam Clerk.
Councilors. Schnepp.
Yes.
Tamish.
Yes.
Turkelson.
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Levesque.
Yes.
Ludke.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
11, thank you. 11
Thank
yes.
you. Let's see, that was Council Burdick.
Thank you, President
35,
Tamish.
please.
35. This is an item of old business referred to a public hearing and the roll call 2/3 majority vote of the council. Item 2025-135, appropriation and loan order in the amount of $900,000 for the purpose of funding the Barnstable United Elementary School building envelope upgrade project as outlined in the fiscal year 2026 through fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Dr. Ahern.
So we alluded to this earlier in the evening when we were talking about the HVAC at Barnstable United. This is another recommendation from structural engineers looking at the school to upgrade the building envelope to make sure that the building is drying out adequately. and as part of moisture management and indoor air quality. Doug?
Thank you. This project will include repairing and repointing masonry, installing additional weep holes as required at several locations across the exterior of the school, installing additional gutters in areas where there are none. The justification, this came highly recommended by the Building Envelope Assessment Report that was provided to us by the engineers that we issued in January of 2025. The exterior walls of the school need to breathe properly and not hold unwanted moisture within them, which creates unhealthy air quality inside the building. Denial or postponing of this project would only result in larger costs in the future, not only for the masonry work, but for the damage the moisture within the walls are causing. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. This building was designed very efficient and very top of the line when it was designed and when it was built. But now we have to maintain this building, make sure it's breathing properly, make sure the water in the cavity is getting out of the building appropriately. This building was also designed with certain stainless steel gutters that are only over certain areas, certain entrances, so it came highly recommended that we add additional gutters, get the water away from the building, get the weep holes working correctly, and get this building breathing correctly. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard on this item? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing. Council discussion. Anyone? Questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk. Oops, excuse me, Councilor Bloom.
Thank you. Just a question about I don't know if it's still there, but there was a dark stain on the brick facade in the BUE building.
Like
It was
front or
fairly
back?
large. I was wondering is that from the lack of guttering? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I do, but I think it was from some trees. A lot of the vegetation over there started out as shrubs.
Yeah.
And then they became trees.
Okay.
And a lot of those trees also didn't do justice to the brick and the masonry around the building. If you go there today, almost every tree and vegetation that was up against the brick has been removed.
Okay.
So that's probably now you really would see a stained or a building that's been kind of shadowed for a while.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilors. Timish.
Yes.
Turkelson.
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Levesque.
Yes.
Ledke.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
Schnepp.
Yes.
11 yes.
Thank you. Councilor Turkelson, excuse me, Councilor Bloom. 2025-136, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is old business, referred to a public hearing, a roll call majority vote of the full council. Item 2025-136 is an appropriation order in the amount of $50,000 for the purpose of funding the Barnstable High School locker room renovations project as outlined in the fiscal year 2026 through fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Dr. Ahern.
Thank you. So this request is for an appropriation to support the design phase of a locker room renovation at the high school, given how outdated the current condition of the locker rooms are.
Correct, and thank you. The locker rooms at the Barnstable High School are extremely outdated with failing fixtures in the bathrooms and the showers. They're old, rusty lockers. They do not appropriately serve the needs of the students. This is a negative impact on the morale of both staff and students. Specific reasons why renovating the Barnstable High School locker room is necessarily investment. Improve cleanliness and hygiene. Old, dilapidated locker rooms can be difficult to keep clean, which can lead to spread of germs. Renovated locker rooms with new fixtures and finishes will be easier to clean and maintain, which will help to improve the health and well-being of students and staff. Reduce downtime. When the fixtures are failing in the locker rooms, it can disrupt the school day for the students and staff. Renovated locker rooms with new fixtures will be less likely to break down, which reduce downtime and improve efficiency. Provide students with adequate storage space. Many of the existing lockers at the Barnstable High School are too small to accommodate the needs of the students. Renovated locker rooms with larger lockers will provide students with the space they need to store their belongings securely. Some of these students are actually bringing and getting friendly with some of the teachers. They're storing their sweaty equipment in a classroom when they could be storing it in the locker room here. I've walked this school and this locker room this morning, and the showers are in very, very rough shape. The tile is in rough shape. It looks like a war zone went off in there. I mean, they're still using parts of it, but these locker rooms definitely need to get some design, to get somebody in there to, I mean, even if it was just as simple as picking out new tile and new fixtures and making that a simple project. But denial or postponing of this project would result in larger costs in the future, not only for the masonry work, but for the damage and moisture within the wall, in the walls that it's causing. So, thank you.
Thank you. I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard on this item? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing. Council discussion. Councilor Neary, did you see your locker there? Did you want to keep it as a memento or what?
No, I'm good.
You're good,
You
okay.
could bid for it. I'm sure they'd say.
I'd like that, actually.
Any further discussion? Councilor Schnapp.
I sure wish this could happen faster. I mean, these look pretty abysmal. And, you know, this is just design. Next year, you're going to come and ask for money. I mean, it's going to be 3 years.
No, I agree. I mean, it's they haven't been really used through COVID, and now they're being used again, and that's kind of why it came up. But you're absolutely right. I mean, walking it this morning, they're in rough shape.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Seeing no one, Madam Clerk?
Counselors. Turkelson.
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Levesque.
Yes.
Ledke.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
Schnepp.
Yes.
Tamish.
Yes.
11 yes.
Thank you. Councilor Turkelson, could you do 2025-137, please?
Thank you, President Tamish.
Excuse me, just 1 second. Just, Madam Clerk, would you just note that Councilor Burdick is leaving the dais?
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is an item of old business requiring a public hearing and a roll call majority vote of the full council. Item 2025-137, an appropriation order in the amount of $160,000 for the purpose of funding the Barnstable Public School Network Infrastructure Replacement and Upgrade Project as outlined in the fiscal year 2026 to fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan as written.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Dr. Ahern?
Thank you. So this is a project as described in the order related to upgrading network infrastructure, including network switches that are needing upgrades due to them being near their end of life or more than 10 years old.
Thank you. I'd like to open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that would like to be heard on this item? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing. Councilor discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Counselors. Bloom.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Levesque.
Yes.
Ledke.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Neary.
Yes.
Schnepp.
Yes.
Tamish.
Yes.
Turkelson.
Yes.
10 yes. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Councilor Vice President Clark, if you could do 2025-138, please. I'm sorry. Well, Councilor Ledke.
Okay, I guess I'm going here. This is old business. It's a public hearing. It requires a roll call majority vote of the full council. Item 2025-138. appropriation order in the amount of $200,000 for the purpose of funding the Barnstable Public School security camera upgrade project, as outlined in the fiscal year 2026 through fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Dr. Ahern.
I'll ask Doug to chime in on the details of the camera upgrade.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. This project will upgrade existing security cameras across the 9 schools and provide preventive maintenance on existing equipment. The justification and the ask for this is much of the district received newer equipment, but several areas are in need of upgrades and additional cameras added. Athletic fields, exits to and from portables, some equipment, and some of the equipment are nearing end of life. I think we've received grants in the past. We will continue to look for those, but this ask is more to continue to upgrade some of the equipment, the software that's being used with them, and then to add the cameras as needed. And this is a potential safety issue if this was to be denied.
Cameras are a critical component of our security practices.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, I will open the public hearing on this item. Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing. Council discussion. Councilor Bloom.
Are these cameras tied into the Barnstable Police Department?
Good. I was going to say, not at this time.
But through a memorandum of agreement that we have with our school resource officer unit, we have agreements around sharing of information, so they might be able to access what's on them.
Great. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilor Turkelson.
Thank you, President Tamish. We had a previous item 2 weeks ago with the police department upgrading their systems so that they could have facial recognition and that kind of stuff. Do these cameras that you're putting in or upgrading have that same quality that you're able to use it in case you need to identify?
I think that there's 2 different projects you're talking about. What they're talking about is also a visitor management system, which I'm going there tomorrow and meeting with them so that we're looking for hopefully some grant funding for that. The visitor management would be basically at each vestibule. So as you enter the building, the visual management would scan you, and then I believe that's what you might be talking about.
No, I think they wanted to upgrade their systems from an analog, I might have it wrong, from an analog system to a digital system so that they could have facial recognition, meaning if we take video of people outside the building, we can identify them. And I'm assuming that in a school system that it would be important to know, let's just say we have 5 kids who start a fight. We want to be able to figure out who those 5 kids were. Do these cameras that we're putting have that level of detail that you're able to use that for identifying?
Yes, the newer ones do. We were actually just looking at them this morning. So yes, they do.
Okay, thank you.
I think, if I could, facial recognition is a specific function as opposed to good digital quality.
Yeah, I used the wrong term because I'm not a security expert. What I mean is the quality of it enough to be able to identify a person's face? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Crowe.
Thank you, President Hampson. Real quick, what Councilor Bloom had said about tying this into the police department was seen in this day and age to be a critical area for fast response. So maybe you ought to think about making sure that is actually going to happen.
I think there might be some legal boundaries around school records versus access to the police. So through the MOU that outlines what and when we share. But our school resource officers are amazing. Most of the time we have our officers on campus and the access is, I think, pretty much at the ready if needed.
Again, just kind of as a point of information, Councilor Crowe, camera access at the police department can sometimes be an issue because there's no one available to watch the cameras. You know, alarm systems, that sort of thing, absolutely. But just to have a camera system, to pay for a camera system, to go into the police department per se, I would not be in favor of.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Counselors. Clark.
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Levesque,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Schnapp,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson,
Yes.
Bloom.
Yes.
Okay, 10 yes.
Very good, thank you. 2025-139, Vice President Clark for the grand finale.
Thank you so very much, President Tamish. Way before 1 a.m. This is old business requiring a public hearing and 2/3 full council roll call of the council. Agenda item 2025-139, appropriation and loan order in the amount of $500,500 for the purpose of funding the Barnstable West Barnstable Elementary School roof replacement project as outlined in the fiscal year 2026 to fiscal year 2030 capital improvement plan.
Second?
Moved and seconded, Dr. Ahern.
Thank you. This final proposal for funding is coming before you to replace a portion of the Barnstable West Barnstable roof. This is the portion that is over the gymnasium, and some of the roof leaks that are happening there is what's creating some moisture that's causing the floor to buckle. And so we're looking for some funds to replace a relatively small portion of the BWB roof.
Correct. This particular roof section, unfortunately, is still a membrane roof on a sloped, pitched roof. It'll be replaced with asphalt shingles to match the rest of the building. Currently, right now, that's why they're kind of showing the pictures that you see. A section of the path or the entrance has to be shut off during snow because the snow slides down the roof so fast. But again, as Dr. Hearn just mentioned, this current roof has a lot of leaks, a lot of issues, and it's causing some of the problems in the gym.
Thank you. I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that would like to be heard on this item? Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing. Council discussion. Anyone on my right? Councilor Turkelson.
Thank you, President Tamish. The roof will be replaced before we replace the floor, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any discussion on my left? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Councilors. Clark. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Levesque,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Schnepp,
Yes.
Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
10 yes.
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you. Thank you for you and
Second.
your staff for a great night.
Thank you. Really appreciate your support and questions, engagement, and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
I have a
thank you,
motion
everyone.
to adjourn.
Do you mind? May I just remind the fellow councilors that there's an upcoming meeting of the Cape and Islands Municipal Leaders Association meeting on Nantucket, and if you're interested in signing up, the deadline is tomorrow. This will be a visit of Nantucket's state-of-the-art composting facility where they have a 95% recycling rate. Thank you.
Thank you. So I had a motion. Was it seconded?
Yes.
Madam Clerk? Maybe
Councilors. Crow,
Yes.
Levesque,
Yes.
Ludke,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Neary,
Yes.
Schnepp,
Yes.
sorry about that. Tamish,
Yes.
Turkelson,
Yes.
Bloom,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.